I'm trying to find the words to put it. Um, I'm gonna just say this. I'm seeing I'm seeing comments about play calling. I just think you could be so far from the truth. Like at the end of the day, it becomes whether or not as a player you're gonna step up and do your damn job. That's number one for me. Like when are you gonna step up and do your job? And I wasn't more frustrated today was the way there was. I told the guys on the 49ers show that I have absolutely no confidence in these wide receivers, and today they proved me right. That's the reason why we have absolutely no reason to even believe in these guys. Today was just absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen as bad receiver play that I've seen. Today was absolutely the worst. It was worse than actually seeing those guys running to each other. We have got receivers out there running into each other. You got Matt Ryan, who's not that fast to begin with on the goal line. He's running, and it took almost 2 seconds for him to just get 2-3 seconds, and he was open. 3-4 guys are chasing Matt Ryan, and you tell me not one receiver could find an opening. Not one receiver could find an open. That's bad. Was the offensive line up and down? Were they inconsistent? Of course they were. Was running game inconsistent? Of course they were. But nothing. There was two things today that was absolutely atrocious. The pass rush, but those wide receivers, they were absolutely atrocious today. Outside of the effort of Russell Gage, Kyle Pitts, those guys were bad. They were bad. And that's just they're just putting it lightly. I've never seen those guys like those guys couldn't find a. I saw one time where I saw a smart play from the receiver, and that was Russell Gage coming back to Matt Ryan after he had some pressure. We saw those type of things. I saw one receiver do that, and that was Russell Gage. The rest of them, I don't even know why they was even on the field. Outside the deep pass to Zacchaeus. Okay, he had a good catch, but this is not a game of 9 routes. Okay, he'll be an all-star if it was a game of 9 routes. Okay, let's just keep it real. It's more than a game than that. But what I saw today, which is absolutely, the receiver should really be. I'm gonna say this: outside of Russell Gage, none of those guys deserve a job. Absolutely no one of those guys. Zacchaeus doesn't deserve a job. Sharp doesn't deserve a job. None of these receivers deserve a job at this point. Those guys were absolutely atrocious.
Let me know, Mike, when you're ready for me to unleash.
Go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing. Go ahead.
Look, the main thing I took from this game was we say it every week. Mike know where I'm going. The trenches. The trenches, the trenches, the trenches. The game is won and lost in the trenches. I understand where Mike is going with the wide receivers, but in this game, the trenches were the problem. They were the main problem. The offensive line didn't play well today. The defensive line didn't play well today. If you noticed, Matt Ryan was under siege all day. He was under pressure all day. And if you look at the opposite side of the ball, they had 3 sacks, and I don't know how many times Matt Ryan was hit, and we had 0 sacks on Jimmy Garoppolo. He was not under pressure for the most part. He had a couple plays where coverage held up and the pocket collapsed, and he had to dump it off to one of his running backs. But if you just look at the game, the trenches is where this game was won and lost. Russell Gage did step up today, played with heart. Like that dude, if anybody else, to me, Russell Gage deserve a contract. And I put in our chat, hey, look, man, give him Calvin Ridley money. Not the type of money I'm talking about, $100 million contract. What I'm talking about, the heart that he played with today, that's the type of heart that you need from your players. He's not as talented as like a Calvin Ridley, but you need guys that have heart, especially to play in this physical style offense. And today you've seen plays where Russell Gage was going across the middle, taking big hits, fearless, going across the middle. You know, he dropped one, still took a big hit, came back, went deep down the field, made a crucial touchdown catch where he mossed on a guy, number 20, Thomas. They were picking on him all day, the corner for San Francisco. But what I looked at in this game is the Falcons have to get better in the trenches. That was the main thing in this game. And you got to take advantage of opportunities. We didn't score in the red zone. We got to the red zone, I think they said 5 times and only scored 1 time. Like, that's a problem. But mainly, it was the trenches that was the problem in this game. On the defensive side of the ball, you got Grady Jarrett, but we need more impact players on the defensive side of the ball in the trenches. If you look at the 49ers, Nick Bosa, you heard them talk about it in the telecast. If you were listening to Trent Green on that play where Cordell Patterson ran into him and he was getting checked for a concussion, as soon as he left the game, you saw the difference on that defensive line for the 49ers. They had 2 main guys that were wreaking havoc. It was that dude Key in the middle. He was wreaking havoc. And it was Nick Bosa. Those guys were wreaking havoc pretty much all day on Matt Ryan. And that's what this Falcons team is missing. Like, we don't have, other than Grady Jarrett, who's that guy that's going to consistently get you pressure? Yeah, we got big guys like Anthony Rush, Mike Pennell to help stop the run, but they're not pass rushers. Like, we need somebody that's going to actually be able to bring pressure consistently, even being able to pass rush up the middle. Like a guy like Aaron Donald, Grady Jarrett, he's that type of player. But you need some more guys that can actually bring pressure and be impact players. To me, the Falcons don't have enough impact players in the trenches. Yeah, you got Dante Fowler Jr., but he's not a guy that's going to be that main number 1 pass rusher like a Nick Bosa. So what I took from this game is we got to get a lot better in the trenches. If we get better in the trenches, we could have won this game because they ran the ball for 110 yards. Their running back, number 22, had 110 yards rushing. Not counting Deebo Samuel, broke off a couple big runs where he had a touchdown. So in this game, like I said, the main thing were the trenches. That's what I noticed in this game is just we got dominated. We got whipped on both the offensive side of the ball and the defensive line and the offensive line both got whipped. And Matt Ryan was pretty much running for his life. Those plays where Matt Ryan tried to take off and run was because the offensive line was not holding up. Caleb McGarry was getting bull rushed like crazy. Nick Bosa was pushing him back. Even when they were chipping him, Nick Bosa was getting pressure. That guy Key, where they took back one of his sacks where he basically had his whole body weight come down on Matt Ryan, but he was wreaking havoc up the middle of the offensive line. Hennessy, Mayfield, they tried to hold up the best they could, but he was dominant. Like I said, their defensive line was dominant.
That's why, and that's why I say this is where I have to say this is the reason why the receivers, everything works hand in hand. Okay, this is what we got to understand. Okay, did the offensive line play like absolute crap? Did they get beat up? Absolutely. But when you don't have receivers that can demand and command double teams, this is what happens to the offensive line. These are the things that happens to your quarterback when your receivers can't get open. There was no threat outside of Kyle Pitts this game, not one threat. So that plays a major part in what teams are doing. What teams are doing is just bringing everybody to the line. That's it. This is the reason why you see these guys because they're on edge because hey, who you gonna throw to?
Yeah, I
We
agree
saw
with
that
you.
one play. We saw that one play with Kyle Pitts that really and you know Zacchaeus. You're absolutely right. The offensive line did get, but these are the things we're talking about. When you don't have a two, we don't have a true number one. We barely have a true number two. Let's just be honest. Is Russell Gage a number two? I don't think so. I think he's a
Yeah.
solid number three, a slot guy. That's what he is. We don't have that. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to have inconsistent offensive line play. The guys are going to get, they're going to have ups and downs. You don't have a quality back on that fourth and one pitch to CP. Look, I love CP to death, but he had a cut lane. His vision just isn't there. He's not a running back. This is why these guys want Mike Davis to do his thing. You gotta have wide receivers and you gotta have quality running backs, and that's what you saw with San Francisco. They got quality tight ends, they got quality receivers, and they got quality running backs. That's what it is. It's called. It just comes up to depth. We don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with you to a certain extent, Mike. What you're saying about the wide receivers, like Russell Gage is not a number one or a number two. He's like a number three, and I agree with you there. I just think that for the offensive line, and it's a total team game. Like you said, if you got more help on the outside, then they can't bring as much pressure. Maybe like bringing more guys down in the box. But I just feel like we seen when Julio was here. Like if we go back to last year when we did have Ridley and Julio here, I feel kind of like even with Arthur Smith, sometimes he gets cute. When we got down there on the goal line, like, look, you're on the one of the half-yard line. Just get in the I formation and see if you can run the ball. Like I hate when we get in these get in the backfield on a shotgun or a single back. Just give the ball. And I feel like this too. And we talked about this early in the season, Mike, about CP. I think at this point, we're using CP too much. Like put Quadre or Mike Davis in there on the goal line and let them run downhill. Like to be honest, Quadre is bigger than CP. Like CP is a big guy, but Quadre is bigger and he's made for that downhill running. Like I feel like we depend too much. Right now, Arthur Smith is dependent too much on CP.
Why is that? That's you just keyed on exactly what I'm talking about. That's the reason why he's dependent on. They don't have these guys. Okay, we always say this about coaches. They have to be comfortable with who they're calling plays for. If they're not comfortable with the personnel, then how are you going to get the best? How are you going to get the best out of a Kyle Pitts? How are you going to get the best of a CP? If he doesn't feel comfortable with these guys, you're not going to get those. You have to have one thing I always say about play calling, even with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is not as good as he is when he doesn't have his quarterback. That's why he went out and drafted a guy like Trey Lance because he's comfortable with him. That's why he goes out and sign all these running backs and offensive linemen because he's comfortable. Arthur Smith isn't comfortable with his personnel. So this is why I'm saying you got to take everything in its entirety. And yes, we got whipped on the offensive line. There's no excuses for that. We got whipped, right? We got whipped on the defensive side of the ball. But defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, they have to be comfortable with the personnel.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Got to be comfortable with your personnel, but I just feel like you have to set a tone at some point. Arthur Smith has to set the tone, and I understand. I don't believe you have to run it 3 times when you're on the goal line, but I think that you have to.
Let's say this. Even with the look, the game really got out of hand when they took the damn touchdown away. That was a clear touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a clear touchdown. We talk about momentum all the time, and I apologize for interrupting, but these are the stuff that we were talking about. The game was horrendous. Okay, we're talking about horrendous play, just caused by the refs.
Yeah,
that killed the momentum. So, like I said before, you're not wrong. You're not wrong whatsoever. But it's one thing when we talk about looking at guys and what they have to do. Did it get too cute? I look at the end of the day. I always say this: you can call the perfect play call, but if they don't execute, what good is the play call? You still got to execute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to do
And
your
you gotta
job.
do your position. You gotta do your job at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So, like I said, at the end of the day, man, it's still you always say this. It's always mano a mano, a man and a man. I'm gonna beat you, or you gonna beat me. That's
yeah,
it.
that's
Falcons
it.
just didn't do that today.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree. And that first one, like you talked about, I hate bringing up play calls or bringing up the refs, bringing the refs into the game, but they kind of brought themselves into this game. That first one, the reason I think that CP's knee may have went down early, but it was no definitive evidence. You heard Trent Green, like all you got to do is listen to the people calling the game. They said, "What definitive evidence can you see that he didn't cross the goal line?" It was no definitive evidence because there was too many bodies around him. So even if his knee did go down early, y'all called touchdown on the field. So you have to have definitive evidence. That's what the rule book says to overturn that. And they never showed. If they had definitive evidence, normally they'll show that on the replay. Like here it go right here where his knee went down early. They had no definitive evidence, but we know how we know how the refs do when it comes to the Falcons and calls and things of that nature. I knew when they went to the booth that they about to take the touchdown off the board because they were taking too long. And when they did it, I said, yeah, that's bull. Like you could see clearly it was no evidence that he didn't score that touchdown. And that definitely was a momentum killer. I do appreciate the aggressiveness by Arthur Smith. And like I said, I kind of hate going back because it's a double-edged sword. We could say take the field goal there, but you're on the 1 yard line, like you're trying to score a touchdown. And this is, like I said, this is really like a playoff game. And that's also kind of trying to set a tone as well. Is we don't want to take a field goal because we're on the 1 yard line. If we don't get it, they're on the 1 yard line, having to go 99 yards to score a touchdown. So I'm not going to go down that road of talking about taking a field goal and stuff like that because I feel like that's a double-edged sword. But I definitely think the refs had a bunch of they were spotting the ball wrong. Like I clearly was seeing on Twitter where they showed one play, I think it was either Pitts or Gage got a first down. They marked them short. So they were doing that the whole game. I was surprised they gave Matt Ryan that roughing the passer call because it was a couple times they could have called roughing the passer as well.
He clearly got hit a couple times.
So. Yeah. I mean, body slammed him to the ground. The one play where the guy clearly put all his weight. I mean, Key basically was putting his weight on Matt Ryan the whole game. It was even the one where he tried to put his hand up at the end. He was coming down with his full body weight. So,
like I said before, we keep talking about. Like I said, we can sit up here and talk about play calling and was it a good pass. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it was a bad call. All right. These guys still got to execute. You got to execute. We can sit up and talk about if did he blitz or did he play zone. If these guys do their damn job and execute, we don't talk about what's bad. Kyle Shanahan literally had the same game plan. He did the same stuff what he did here in Atlanta. It was nothing different. He used a lot of motion, and he pitched the ball, and he used a lot of stretch plays. That's it. That's what he does. It's nothing different. So at the end of the day, a lot of these plays these coaches call, they're nothing special to it. It's nothing special to it. It comes down to being physical and executing. We weren't physical enough. They smashed us in the face. Okay? So this is why I say all the time, it's not always on the play card. If you don't execute, all right. If you don't execute, you don't win. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Matt Ryan had wide open, like the wide open Tajay Sharp for a touchdown. Guess what? They got pressure. Perfect call. Perfect call. Could have resulted in a touchdown, but they didn't get it. Execution. These are the things we're talking about. So like I said, we can sit up here and blame this. Oh, there was a bad call. There's a bad call. CP, like I said, CP had an opportunity to cut the ball up to get the first down. He didn't do that. Those are the 2 to 3. You always say the same thing. 2 to 3 plays that define it. He didn't make the play. We did not make a play. That's what it come down to. All right. So, like I said before, we always talk about whether or not, did we come to compete? And I honestly believe we came to compete. I truly believe that this game was just based on the lack of talent. I just don't think we have enough talent. We just don't have enough talent to compete with a Kyle Shanahan type of offense.
Yeah. And that's what it go back to. Like what I was talking about in the trenches, like we just don't have enough talent. Like Grady Jarrett, yeah, he's fine and well. Dante Fowler, he's hit and miss, but who else do you have? And I really feel like we need more impact players on the defensive line. It was the reason why in the draft I wanted Greg Rousseau. I wanted Michael Parsons. I wanted, the likes of a Christian Barmore that plays with the Patriots. We've seen what he did to our Falcons in that Thursday night game. When you don't have those guys in the trenches, and that's what I was going back to, even Mike, when we were talking about the wide receivers and stuff. Like, we need more talent out there. That's why it hurts not having a guy like Calvin Ridley, because then you have to keep that safety over top, because you don't want to leave him in one-on-one situations because he's a lethal route runner. Like, they thought Russell Gage was killing them. If we had a guy like Calvin Ridley out there, he can run all of the routes, on the route tree. Plus, he can run the 9 routes like you have Zacchaeus doing. So, like, right now, we just kind of got specialists out there. Like, when you see Zacchaeus in the game, you pretty much know he going deep, because that's pretty much all he does. You know what I'm saying? So it limits what you can call. So in fairness to Arthur Smith, he just working with what he has. But I don't want to take nothing from, because I think I've seen one of the 49er, some of the 49 fans in here as well. I don't want to take nothing from the 49ers. Like I said, hats off to them. They were the better team. Kittle went to work. He killed us today. Deebo Samuel, the guys that we talked about in our 3 keys to victory, those guys dominated. Like, Kittle did what he wanted to do. Deebo Samuel did what he wanted to do. We had no answers. And like you said, sometimes it comes down to man on man, who has the better matchups. And right now, a lot of these teams just out, when it comes down to matchups, they're winning those one-on-one matchups. They had the better players, because we're down some of our key players. And then we just have to go in and draft some guys. Like, let's just be real. Like you said, we just need more talent in general. I think Arthur Smith is doing a good job with what he has, but we're lacking talent.
Shanahan knew his defense was weak right down the middle. Need to get bigger linemen and inside linebackers. And there's something that I saw today, and this might shock a lot of people, but it may not shock some. I know a lot of people was looking at Dion today and it's like, okay, Dion should have did, but they was really going at Foye Oluokun. This is the first time that I've seen any offensive coordinator take it to Foye like they was taking. He's the middle linebacker, and all day long, all was Kyle Shanahan. They had the camera on Foye at least 3-4 times in the second half, because they were just going right at him. The entire game, they were just putting that camera on him. Why? Because they knew that Kyle Shanahan was attacking Foye. And even a couple of plays, you saw Grady Jarrett, had to occupy the middle of space because they sent Foye on the blitz, and Grady Jarrett went and filled the void, the play zone. And a couple of plays where they had your boy Michael Walker. They took Foye out of the game. It wasn't Dion that they took out. They took out Foye. They attacked Foye the entire second half. They saw that mismatch and saw Kyle Shanahan. Look, I always say he's a brilliant play call, but today he went directly at Foye. This is the first time I've ever seen him play this bad. It was terrible. Our linebacker play today was not very good, but Foye today was absolute. He was bad. He was absolutely bad. And those plays where you have those penalties, even with Moreau, it just seems like every time he does good, he always have one of those games where it's like, good gracious. That second half, we were still right there, but when he had those when he had that penalty, and then he ended up. I don't know what happened. I think he kind of gave up. Yeah, he gave up like 2 catches back to back. It's just today we just saw Kyle Shanahan. He saw it. He saw weaknesses in our defense, and he exploited it the entire half. And that's like I said, that right there has everything to do with the lack of talent. That's pretty much it. It was just a lack of talent, man.
Mm,
Oh God.
Drew, how you doing, man?
What up? What up, LT?
I've been talking to Mike all day. Ain't no need to speak to him after a little issue that we had earlier. But
How, it's my fault.
people, I ain't say it was your fault. Now did I? But people, I want y'all to listen to me good. It was a rough day today. We had some self-inflicted wounds. I got to admit that. You know, football is a 60-minute game. You know, you got to handle business when it's time to handle business. I don't like being that person. I really don't. But my God, I don't know if these boys tapped into this because I was on the call earlier, but the refereeing in that first half was atrocious. Mm. I don't even like, and I don't even like putting the game in the referee's hands, but just that initial touchdown did not sit right with me. For you to take that away from us when we cleared it, like I don't care. They called it a TD. I didn't see nothing to overturn it, but they did. It was a bad play. But for saying us, we had some bad issues. And most of our losses this year, we lost because defenses started playing bump and run on our wide receivers, where they weren't able to beat, the press coverage. Same thing today. Um, Matt having to hold the ball a little longer than usual. So that him, like, especially one of the turnovers, like you could literally. The crazy thing about it is the sack fumble that he took. You literally could see Matt when he took the snap and he's in protection and he's scanning the field. You could literally see his face, his head swiveling back and forth like this because he's trying to find a receiver. He couldn't find nobody. Nobody was open for him. I'm gonna let Mike tell it because this is what it's the word that came from his mouth. I'm gonna let him have that because this was his idea. What you said earlier in the space about what we plan on doing in the future. Go ahead and tell the world what you think.
This is not going to be a popular decision by any means necessary. But Julio left us with no. Well, I'll take it out of Julio. I'll take Julio. What Julio did was take us out. He left us unable to really address the defense. But what Calvin really did, he killed our chances to build the defense in its entirety because now we got to focus on getting a receiver that we actually trust. This receiving core is not going to cut it. These guys are bad, all right? These guys are just bad. And like Drew said, these are a bunch of specialists, and they're not very good at what they specialize at. That's the crazy part.
Hey, Drew said that?
Yeah, man.
They a bunch of specialists, but it's oh my God. Like I said, today I have never been, he can tell you, guys in the space, I've never been so upset with our receivers. When I see our quarterback who's not very mobile, I'm gonna say not very mobile, but I see him scrambling and nobody's even coming back towards him. These guys are stationary. These guys just standing there. We literally saw 4 guys come in on Matt Ryan, hit him on the goal line, and not one wide receiver even thinks about moving to the right side. These are the things that we're talking about. So why he said that? We going wide receiver whether you like it or not. There's no way you can ignore the deficiency at that wide receiver position because right now we can't even trust Calvin, really. We don't know if this guy coming or going. Come to say, we have no idea what he's even thinking. We don't know what they're thinking. So how are you going to be able? We have to address this offense. We have to address that wide receiver position. So, I like I said, I'm a quarterback at heart, bro, but play some receiver myself. I've never seen this bad. Today for these wide receivers were bad. Outside of Russell Gage and Kyle Pitts, it was bad, bro. Go ahead, Kickstarter, because I see that grin on your face. That was bad. These guys, look, who that? Can any one of y'all name Can y'all name anybody on that San Francisco secondary? I don't even know who the hell those guys were.
Hey, when you got a front four that can constantly get pressure, it don't matter what their name is.
Do you know what's crazy? I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like San Fran, they got pressure because they was basically pressing our receivers and they couldn't come open. Like initially the San Francisco wasn't doing that much damage, but by Matt having to hold the ball longer than what he's usually used to, that's where San Francisco did they damage up front at, because Matt had to hold it. Like I said, on the strip sack fumble, you see on the play where Matt was sweeping his head back and forth, trying to find somebody. He's literally standing in the pocket doing this, scanning the field. Who open? But he couldn't find nobody, so he had to start scrambling. And then later Nick Bosa just knocking the ball out of his hand. Even on the TD play, like where, like, you know, eventually Tajay Shark came open at the goal line, but it took so long to develop that by the time he finally got open, Mayfield had got tossed out the way and Key was on Matt.
Today we just got out physical, bro. Physical the Falcons.
That's basically what. Hey, my apologies for coming on late. A whole bunch of shit just happened. I had to take care of some stuff. So, yeah, that's all I saw. I just saw basically just where we want the Falcons to be at, the way that San Fran played, and where we at right now as far as the mentality of it. Because either way, I understand going balls to the wall, but 5 possessions in the red zone and you get 3 points. That hurt. What say that hurt? I had to say it like that. That hurt. But
hood man.
Hey, this probably was the worst red zone performance we've had all year.
Yep. Right. So,
because I think most of the time we were pretty efficient, but today we scored like 1 TD and 5 trips. Like, this is literally the worst we've had all year. I mean, and we, like I said, we usually better than that, but hey, shit happens.
Because for God's sake, boy, that did, like you said, like Mike said, it was all about physicality, and this is exactly what you saw. And Route 96 was, I'm about to say Route 96 was open today, boy. Boy, they was that second half, boy. They saw, like I said, they saw Tyler Davidson run at his ass. And that's what happened. They was moving him out the spot like it was nothing.
Hell, it was more like Fourier. But I'm talking about, bro, that one, you laughing, but that one TD drive, bro, I'm talking about, and Mike called it in the space. He said they ain't doing nothing but run that Fourier. And I'm talking about literally for every play. When he said it, every play after that, I focused strictly on Fourier. and all they did was got down the play. He was the key piece of the play for being successful. And I'm talking about, I literally watched Alex Mack snap the ball and literally steal off Fourier for and they ran like 12 yards on that play. He literally snapped the ball and steal Fourier off on a reach block.
But in order to get the Fourier, what's the defensive line's responsibility?
That's it.
That's true.
Well, let me.
I know where you're going with it, though.
I know exactly where you're going. Because one of the things when you gotta look at what Kyle Shanahan never worries about that first initial guy. His offense isn't designed to go up the middle. His offense is designed to hit the outside guy. So what he did was use Fourier, whose instincts is more so an outside linebacker. Okay, he played outside linebacker. He used his aggressiveness against him, and that's when you saw George Kittle going right up the middle. You know what I'm saying? He was using Fourier's aggressiveness against him. That's just great play call. Right. You got to understand the personnel. So at the end of the day, did they play well? The defensive tackles, I wouldn't say they did, but he took advantage. We know what Kyle Shanahan's offense is all about. Is to take advantage of your linebackers. It's more so to take advantage of your linebackers. And we saw today that it wasn't Fourier's day. He literally targeted a linebacker that he can go after, and he did it all game long. And then later on, he took Route 96, okay? That's what happened later on, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, but you also have to think, even when he did take advantage of Fourier, it was still a 7-point game. When he took Route Route 96, it just went all hell broke loose after that. That's why I was going with it. I mean, Fourier. Like I said, at the end of the day, the Falcons just got their ass whooped physically.
That's it.
There's no ifs, ands, and
you know what? I'll take that back a little bit because again, it was still a 1-score game in the second half. It was a 1-score game. If you do not make those mistakes, those penalties, especially on Moreau, I believe it was Jake Matthews. He jumped off sides and it was like 1st and 15 or something like that. And then you got Mayfield. He had a couple penalties, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like these things, those are vital parts of because all Kyle Shanahan wants to do is just keep that clock turning. That's his whole offense, is to keep the clock turning. So you give him more opportunities where he can just focus on running the ball and keeping the ball away from you. Oh, he's a genius he's a mad scientist at that type of shit.
Right. And like I said, when you put with the 49ers, like you said, they just basically paid efficient. Like I said, Garoppolo only threw the ball 23 times. And usually that's where they're at their most efficient. From what I'm looking here at the box score and looking at the game, looking at the spot score, they took away the running game. At the end of the day, they just took away our running game.
Agreed.
That's why I said at the beginning of the show, K-Styles, the trenches. We talk about it week in and week out. Like, if you get dominated in the trenches, I don't care how good you are at wide receiver or anything. If you can't move another man against his will when it matters, because, like, think about it. When we was on the goal line, that's all about the trenches. Once you get to the goal line, the teams that can run the ball on the goal line, they just run right at you. Even when you know that they're going to run it, they just run it at you and say, look, we tougher, we stronger, we going to move you. Our technique's better. We don't care who you got on the defensive line. We're going to just push you around. And to me, this team, we're trying to have that mindset, but to me, at times, it seems like Arthur Smith goes away from it. And I'm like, I don't care if the running game looks like it's not working. Just keep going to it, even if you're getting 1-2 yards, because the reason I say go to it, when you're playing a physical team, you see what happened to Nick Bosa when he ran into CP, or CP ran into him. He almost got a concussion. Like, they checked him for a concussion. He almost got injured. But you got to be physical. Like, you can't, when the defense is being physical with your offensive line, you can't say, well, we're going to just drop back and pass. Like that's you're doing what they want you to do. You're doing what they want you to do once you do that.
Let me add this to what you just said. This is the first game that I've actually seen that Cordero isn't a running back. It's the first game I can actually say he's not a running back because he had several opportunities to hit a hole and he just missed it. This is the first time I can see the lack of running backs with this offense. We just don't have talented running backs. When you look at San Francisco, they have a bunch of guys. Debo, those guys are natural runners, and they have a vision. Debo has always been, a running back / wide receiver. He's always been there, going back to his college days. But he's more so a running back than anything. And today, it was several times where they had holes, and even CP, he didn't hit the hole, he didn't hit the hole properly, or he was slow, or he just plain out missed it. And Davis, he just doesn't have the vision. Like that's what I saw from Davis. Yeah, he ran hard, but this is the first time that I see. Okay, we really need to go get a running back, whether it's in free agency and the draft, if not both. We just don't have a lot of talent at their skill positions right now.
I agree to that because a lot of people, I know a lot of folks didn't really agree with that fourth down call to Patterson when he ran the toss play, the fake dive toss play. But like I told, like I said, before, if you watch the replay, people be like, why would you run that play, this, that, and third? And I tell folks all the time, it's a catch-22 in a sense because it was a double-edged sword because a lot of times you run that play and you get it, nobody said nothing about that call. And then times when you don't get it, then everybody trip about that call. But what people don't know is when you run that play back, you could clearly see there was a lane right there, but Patterson overran it. If he doesn't run too far outside, if he cuts up immediately, he gets the first. There was literally a lane right there. I mean, even if he don't get many yards after that, he had enough where he could have just turned up field and got the first, but he overran it. So that's why he ended up getting stopped short. But I mean, like I said, today, they just got physical, they just got muscled us up front, and like I said, I agree with everything you guys said. It's just that it kind of, I ain't gonna say it hurt me in a sense. It just, with so much playoff implications, I knew how important this game was. And now that, they didn't win the game, I'm definitely saying it ain't over because we definitely still in it, just based off the scenarios that's been represented. But, at the end of the day, you still want to see your team win, possibly make the playoffs. But, I mean, I will say this about the Falcons. I'm still very much proud of this team. I'm proud of this coaching staff. I'm proud of the players. Those guys been fighting all year. Whether the game gotten out of hand early on or not, like when we lost against the Cowboys, yeah, everybody had pretty much turned their TVs off. No, I sat and watched every game, every minute of it. Why? Because I want to see whether you getting your ass handed to you or not. How much you gonna tuck your tail and run away? Boy, them boys came out, even though they couldn't get nothing going still, they still fought. I appreciate that. They played against New England, they still fought. I appreciate that. Even today, they still fought. I appreciate that. This is the difference in previous regimes being part of this organization versus this team. I got to tell you all the time, whether y'all want to believe it or not, or whether other fans want to believe it or not, this team gonna go places. Because you got a coaching staff that has players like these guys fighting and believing in them every step of the way. Whether the game is out of hand or not, they're going to still put up a fight regardless. Watching Matt, seeing Matt, knowing we down 3 scores, trying to run a football in the end zone, and he taking a drill shot, to do that speaks volumes. A lot of people might not think, well, he didn't score.
That dude got all
say what?
You need to stop, bro. Damn Chauncey.
What is he? Not ammonia.
I'm gone, y'all.
Not ammonia.
It was nice knowing all of y'all. It was nice knowing all y'all. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. I'm gone. I'm just gone.
I'm crazy, man.
Now you committing suicide online.
Man, look, man, listen, man. Hey, I echo everything you said, little bro. I think this team is overachieved. A lot of the small brain gonna think differently because they, they're a little, like I said earlier over there in the group chat. They little 3 to 4 win prediction has been shattered in like damn near 2 months ago. So they feelings hurt so bad that we actually we actually playing meaningful games in December. Guess what? We got at least 2 more meaningful games in December. Each week we win is going to be a meaningful game. Detroit is not going to be a cakewalk next week for a couple of reasons. Number one, we haven't won at home. I mean, that's the number. That should be the number one reason. And Detroit played well. I watched Detroit a little bit today. They look well. They look pretty good today against Arizona. Arizona's showing me suspectness. So if a team like that can stay up there in the 1 or 2 seed, and we back our way into like a 6 or 7 seed, I like our shot against them, especially on the road. Matt took a beating today. It looked like the defense took a step back. I was starting to feel good about the defense, and then they fucking relapsed, man. The bad angles, being out of position, missing tackles, and we was already getting whooped. Now our interior D linemen, I think overall they played decently. Jarrett got to push a couple times. 94 got to push a couple times. Tyler Davidson got to push a couple times. Our linebackers tackled like garbage today, y'all. Like we were just talking about it. We got to listen. We can't miss no tackles at all. We're the type of team that we cannot give extra opportunities. We can't give nobody no extra opportunities because your depth chart already thin. But I think we squandered an opportunity today. But hell, there's still 3 weeks left in the season, and I mean, it's safe to say we got to run. We need to run the table. I mean, hell, the way it's looking in the NFC, hell, 9-8 probably should get you in, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at every other team in their schedule, but
yeah, I agree. But you just don't want it.
We got to take care of our business, and we're gonna need help. But if we take care of our business, we may not need as much help as we think. Now, if we get in the tiebreaker scenario, boy, we on the bad end on a lot of tiebreakers. Okay. Okay.
It's a wrap.
We lost the tiebreaker.
It's done if we got.
It's a wrap. OG.
It's a wrap if we get them tiebreakers, boy.
Yeah, man. Because like the only team we got the advantage on in the tiebreaker is New Orleans. So, hey, man. Hey, don't think like you said, man. I want to be honest with you. As a fan, I think Arthur Smith and his coaching staff has given us, if nothing else, an opportunity to be optimistic or have hope this time of year. Like Christmas Day, my Falcons gonna still be in the playoff hunt this year. How about that? Again, the narrow mind and the small brain, they gonna talk what they normally talk. I was just looking at a few of the posts over in Falcon Nation. Well, here in Falcon Nation and over in B2B, I'm like, man, y'all come on, man. Oh yeah, now. Hey, man, a lot of our fans are so misinformed. It's sad, but we got Detroit next week, y'all, and Detroit looked good today. Detroit looked good today, and we didn't. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he pretty much go there. But we'll go ahead and bring in somebody right here. Said he was gonna join us, whether win or lose. Here you go. What's up, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh,
huh? Oh, y'all thought y'all wasn't gonna see me?
Boy, please, with your crazy ass, we knew you was gonna come regardless.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
listen, man.
Hey, man, I'm gone, bro. I'm finna go and take a sip of this ammonia. If I gotta listen to this bullshit, I'm gonna go and take a sip of this goddamn ammonia. Hold on, let me get a sip first, bro. Because if I gotta listen to this bullshit here, goddamn, let me just go and run. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and get it off the chest, goddamn.
Listen, all jokes aside, man, because listen, our fans hate when we have 11,000 subscribers on our channel, right? We bring in somebody that just beat us. They can't stand when we do that. They be like, nah, we want to hear what you guys say. We don't want to see them. You know, they won. F them. You know how y'all know how the viewers can get, right? So I'm not gonna do that, y'all. Only thing I'm gonna request from y'all is that we take that shot like I asked y'all on the show. If y'all could take a quick drink with me, I'll leave y'all alone. Y'all good to go. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do on y'all show, man. I just want y'all to take one drink with me. Come on now.
I ain't got nothing to drink, but I do have something. No, man. But
This man.
I ain't got nothing to drink now, bro.
Man,
I got this old damn Dr. Pepper over here. I ain't supposed to be drinking Dr. Pepper, y'all. By the way, I ain't supposed to be drinking Dr. Pepper, but I relapsed today. Like the Falcons defense relapsed today, I relapsed on Dr. Pepper. So everybody go to hell. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper today.
Oh my God, yo, crazy. Well, OG.
So I drank some Dr. Pepper. I drank some Dr. Pepper, bro.
The 49ers are officially, this is the official whiskey. This is the official whiskey of the 49ers called Gold Bar Liquor. Okay? Gold Bar Whiskey. Shit. So that's what I'll be taking a shot of on y'all show. I'm going to leave y'all alone. Like I said, I don't want y'all fans to turn against y'all. I don't want them to stop watching, nothing like that. I'm not going to gloat. I'm not going to talk about how bad y'all got beat. I'm not going to talk about how y'all couldn't convert no fourth down. I'm not going to come here and say how y'all offensive line, who didn't allow a sack in 2 weeks, got stopped. I'm not here to talk about none of that. I'm just here to take a shot, and I'm going to leave y'all alone. That's all I want to do. Oh, hey, wait. All right, fine. I tell you what. For those of y'all that don't want to take a shot, today is my daughter's birthday. She's right here.
He jugging y'all. He's jugging. He's stabbing us, bro.
Y'all wait.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Happy
birthday, sweetheart.
Happy birthday.
Oh man, he cutting us deep.
Tell him how old you are today.
I'm 7.
7, huh?
7.
You know what 7 is?
Right.
Happy birthday, that young fella.
7.
You're not 7 today though. Oh yeah, you are. Never mind. Yes, you are. Damn, I got too many kids. She's right. She's 7, yo. Okay. All right.
Hey, bro. Hey, check this out. It ain't just you. Listen, man. One of my good friends is Arden Key's daddy. Oh boy, he texted me now and he giving me the business. Well, we call him Crane. Crane giving me the business right now, and I wouldn't even respond to him. And he really going in on me now, boy.
Hey, listen, Arden Key.
I wouldn't even respond to him. He gonna probably pull up at my house.
Oh damn, he gonna pull up.
If he in town, he gonna pull up at my house.
That's different energy right there.
Yeah. And look, what can I say to him?
Nothing. Nothing.
Hey, I love his son. I've been knowing the boy ever since he was younger than that young man now. So, hey, I'm getting the business right now. I'm getting it. And oh man, I'm talking about my phone thumping. My phone.
Yeah, I bet it is. Look, hey man, let him. Hey, do me a favor. Let him know that penalty on his son, not the encroachment, but that roughing the passer, that was a legit penalty. He gonna tell you that penalty was BS. But as a Niners fan, let me be the one to tell you that was the right call. You cannot put your full body weight on a quarterback. It's a rule. Like it, love it, hate it. However you feel about it, that's the rule, man.
But you know what, though? Guess what?
Can I be honest with you, though? Can I be honest with you, man?
It's funny because me and Travis talked about this a little earlier. I'm going to tell you, bro, what is the man supposed to do? See, I'm a defensive guy. What is he supposed to do? He came and hit the guy. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you real quick. I'm going to be honest with you.
Put a skirt on.
I'll be honest with you. I don't. The way they said it was what the penalty was for, I didn't agree with. Now, if you said the head and neck area where he hit him at initially, I could kind of give it that. But as a defensive guy, I really don't be liking that penalty. I really feel like it was a made up call from the one where when he actually hit Matt for the sack,
what it was,
and he was still standing up when the play was dead. and he ended up slamming Matt, which was I said should have been roughing the passer penalty then, but they didn't call it. So that other one was a makeup call. I didn't agree with that second pass on roughing the passer penalty. I did not agree with that at all.
I feel you. Hey, look, man, the faithful killed me for it. And I went on the show, and like I said, I did. I defended the officials. I hate the call every time I see it called. Right? I don't like that call at all when they say that you can't put all your body weight on the quarterback. I'm not sure how sacks is supposed to happen if you can't tackle them and land down on the ground. They want you to like roll midair like you in the Matrix or some shit. I don't know how they expect people to do it, but it is the rule. That's the one rule. That's the one penalty that I unfortunately had to defend tonight. And the people hated me for it. All the 49er fans are like, nah, you're crazy for defending that. And, it is what it is. But wait, there's one more person in my house or one more creature in my house I want y'all to see. Come here. Come here, Poppy. Come on.
Oh, Lord.
Hold on. Wait. I want y'all to see something real quick. Look at this. Stay. Sit down. Stay. Stay right there. Okay? Look at this, y'all. I want y'all. Come here. Sit down. All right. Stay. Good boy. Stay. Stay right there.
Oh Lord! Well, what the hell you got going on?
All right. Look. Hey, this is my boy right here. Okay. Y'all. Hey, guess what his name is? I'm gonna give y'all a hint. I'm a 49ers fan, true and through. Guess what his name is? It's Niner.
I'm going. That did. See, I'm on you. I'm on you, y'all. That did. It was nice knowing y'all. That did. It's your fault.
Go.
You sent me over there. Niner, ain't that a bitch?
Hey, I'm gonna take my shot.
Hold on. Hey, hold on. Let me go find something. Hold on, I got something.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Shoot, fuck it.
Hey, Mike, man, you kind of quiet up there in that corner, bro. You okay, bro?
I'm having trouble. I'm having a little bit of trouble. So,
well, what's the matter? Honestly, all jokes aside, man. I mean, the game.
Nah, my computer.
Let me ask you a quick. All biases aside, let me ask you this: what did you think about that overturned touchdown on Cordell Patterson?
That was refresh my memory a little bit. When was that? That was in the first half.
That was the first drive. The first drive of the game when we got the turnover from you guys, and they said that this said we scored the touchdown, but then they said they looked at the replay and said it wasn't.
That was the one where like he ran it up the middle, and it looked like he fell into the end zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen, man. I can't call it. I don't know what official sees that in the middle of that scrum. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't call it for real. I tell you what.
Let me ask you this. If you, I understand. Trust me, I completely understand. But let me ask you this: did you feel like it was like indisputable evidence where they could have overturned it?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What was the original ruling?
The original ruling was they gave us the touchdown, but then they reviewed it because all scoring plays are reviewed. So when they reviewed it, they said he didn't score. So that's why I was asking, like, did you think that it was anything that showed where they could have overturned it?
Nah. So let me tell you, I didn't watch any of the replays because we were watching it live. Y'all scored. I remember there being a touchdown call, and I was like, all right, I expected that off of the turnover right there. And I moved. I started doing other stuff. So I didn't even see the replays until we came back, and I was like, oh shit, we held them. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see any of the replay. I can't say it. I know when I watched it live though, it looked like his upper body got in there. So it looked like it sounds like what they call his shin or his knee down before the ball crossed the plane.
I appreciate your honesty.
Hey, I'm about to say I ain't got no shot glass, but I had to put it in the bottle right here.
Hey, let's take this thing. I'm gonna get off y'all show and let y'all get back to business over there because I don't want y'all fans to hate y'all.
Hold on, let me hold on real quick.
Look. I made a promise with you, so I said I got to deliver with it.
Okay, all right now. I don't know where Miss Maggie is. I sent her and Mike the link to come on my show and do it, but I understand there's other stuff going on and families and everything,
Right.
Let's get this computer together, man.
God, boy.
He coming back. He coming back.
But when y'all was talking about that roughing the parents, that roughing the parents call, you do know where that call originated. You know who was the originator beneficiary of that call, right?
It had to be either Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Brady.
Nah, it was Aaron Rodgers. Because remember, Aaron Rodgers got hit. Remember, Clay Matthews hit him like that, tore his shoulder up. That's where that call originated.
Clay Matthews hit Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, you remember that year he hit him like that, and Aaron Rodgers tore his shoulder up. I think it was like in the middle of the season.
What man, team? Them penalties started coming in. Them penalties started coming in like back when what the boy name is when Brady got his knee tore up.
Oh no, that's where you can't hit him below the knee. It's not a glass, but I got it in here.
All I can tell you is this some moonshine. Yeah. Y'all be good.
This little bourbon right here.
Good God.
Hold on.
Ooh. Ooh, Lord.
Ooh.
Lord have mercy. That guy was strong too.
Wait, y'all took the shot already?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my daughter got toothpaste in her eye. They brushing their teeth. I don't know how she did it. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna take my. Hey, listen. I'm gonna say a little poem here. Then I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Okay. This has nothing to do with sports. All right. Through the lips and past the gums. Watch out, tummy. Here it comes.
That's good.
I like that. Well,
I'll get it. All right, fellas. Hey, listen, man. Y'all be safe. Talk to your peoples out there. Y'all playoff hopes are not shot, but y'all might have to do a couple of wins. Y'all gonna have to handle some business out there. I think y'all got to win 3 of these last games, man. So, good luck to y'all. Good luck to your fans and everything. And guys, if it's ever a time to collaborate in the future, let me know. I got y'all, man. Y'all are good people over here. I like the energy. Keep it up. Win or lose, keep that passion. That is one of a kind. I like what y'all got going over here. Okay.
Hey man, appreciate you coming on, man. We appreciate all the well wishes and y'all, and best of luck to y'all in the postseason as well, man.
Thank you very much, man. Fellas, y'all be safe, all right?
All right.
No doubt.
All right, yeah. I did make a damn mistake. I was like, I had to think about what I just said. Like, wait a minute, Clay Matthews and Aaron Rodgers on the same team. Okay, yeah, I made a mistake. They corrected me. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Who the hell did Clay Matthews hit that got that call twice in 2 weeks? Whatever.
I forgot that was back in I think that was like the 2017 season, boy. They were just calling roughing the passer penalty left and right, and they were hitting Clay Matthews bad because like he was like they were playing sacks, and they just kept calling. We was looking like, well, damn.
Yeah, so it was I made the mistake. It was Anthony Barr that hit Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
That's what I don't know why because I think the reason why because I remember Clay Matthews kept getting hit with that same call like 3 weeks in a row.
Okay, now I remember because that was, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Barr did it in 17 when Rodgers tore his shoulder up.
Yeah.
But then the next year, they was eating Clay Matthews up with like 3 straight games with them penalties.
Right.
So yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so I kind of got confused on that. But yeah, man. That's pretty much what this game was, man. We just didn't take advantage of some of our opportunities that we had. And wait a minute, we got somebody in here. Drebo, what it do?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing,
man? What's going on? Pretty good.
Yeah, I finally made it, y'all. This Arizona time be kicking my ass, man. It seems like every time I say I get ready to jump on with y'all, I be falling asleep, man, because I be working and shit like that. So, but I'm here, man. I told Maggie and Mike I'll jump on for a little bit. I've been kind of busy. I just closed on the house, and my son's here for the holiday, so it's been a good Christmas so far for me.
Hey, man, we happy for you. Congratulations on closing on your house.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm here. So what's the subject about? What we talking about? We talking about these Falcons.
Talk about what your thought on the game was and stuff like that.
Honestly, bro, I don't really. It's been one of those seasons, man, where I didn't really have, like I told y'all at the beginning before everything happened. I didn't really have any expectations. I mean, us getting 6 wins is us overachieving as is, especially with this roster that we have and all the issues we got with our O-line, our D-line, players, taking breaks for whatever reason, people getting injured, new coach, new regime, it's just basically, it's just been one of those seasons where it's just been a war of attrition pretty much. But I will say that us getting 6 wins this season, it may not be the standard that we're used to, but getting 6 wins with this roster is pretty much was a surprise to me. Getting 6 wins. People have been riding Matt Ryan hard this season, and you gotta give that man a break. He's doing all he can to will this team to a win, and what I saw today, him just getting smacked around like that. I actually felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for him because you could see it in his eyes, like he wants to get us the win. He wants us to be this team that he knows that we can be, and it hurts me because this man has given him his all for many, many years, and people have still gave him shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel sorry for him, and a part of me wants him to stay and ride it out and finish his season as a Falcon or finish his career as a Falcon. Mm-hmm. But there's another part of me that's like, you know what? Let that man go to a contender and get him a ring, because he's gone above and beyond for this team. He's gone above and beyond for this franchise, and to see the way he's been getting beat up and getting smacked around, and people are being unappreciative of what he does, it sickens me. It really does. I can't sit here and say, have I been critical of Matt Ryan? Absolutely. I mean, no quarterback can go without criticism, but I'm not going to sit here like some people and say that the blame falls squarely on his shoulder. It's enough blame to go around this whole franchise from top to bottom. It's the last regime left us with a mess, with bad draft picks and free agent bust and horrible contracts and, people getting traded. So I can't put this squarely on Matt Ryan. It's enough blame to go around it. And the only thing we can do right now is we just got to keep building. They say Rome wasn't built overnight, so we just got to keep building. That's all I can say. And with this game, I didn't expect anything today. I did kind of want to beat the 49ers because who their head coach is. But I didn't expect us to really put up a fight today. I'm not saying we're packing it in right now. I'm just thinking right now, I think that we're looking towards the future right now on what we could do as far as building this team up. There's a lot of holes we have to fill, and it's going to probably take more than one draft class to do it, more than one free agency signing to do it. I really think that we have the potential to be a contender, but it's going to take some time. And, Falcons fans, I know y'all ready to throw in the towel, but don't throw it in just yet. We're going to be all right. It's just going to have to take some time and some patience. And I know people say, "Oh, another rebuilding year," but sometimes you just gotta think that. You gotta think that it's hard. But I will say that one day when we look back on this and when the Falcons are actually consistently in the running for a Super Bowl, we're gonna look back on the season as that turning point. And I know a lot of people are giving Arthur Smith a lot of grief, but come on, man, how would him getting 6 wins with this roster is basically. He went above and beyond with this roster to get 6 wins with this roster. Like, I can't sit here and say that he is the blame because he got left with a mess. It's kind of like what Mike Smith walked into after the whole Petrino Mike Vick situation. Kind of walked into that situation where it was a complete mess. Mike Vick was on his way to jail. We didn't have no quarterback. That's when we drafted Matt Ryan. And as you saw over the years, the Falcons started getting better. We started winning games. We started going to championships. We started making the playoffs and, Super Bowls and stuff like that. So it's kind of like what happened in 2008, honestly, to me. So we just got to be patient, man. I mean, I've been a fan for almost 25 years and I ain't going nowhere. So I'm just going to ride the wave like I've always been and just be here. But it's definitely been a war of attrition this season as far as the Falcons are concerned. But like I said before, getting 6 wins with this roster, that's basically overachieving because I did not expect us to get 6 wins. I expected 4. So us to get 6 wins, possibly get 7 if we play Detroit, that's pretty much an overachievement in itself. Get 7 wins with this roster and this new regime. I say it's a positive, and it's just something we're gonna have to build on.
You know what I appreciate about you? Oh,
I got a question for him, Mr. Red Cup.
Yeah, I had to bring it out, man. It's been a while, so I had to bring it out today.
That'll go over a lot of people's head, but
exactly.
The question that I have for you, the question I have for you is this. Let's just be honest. On that offensive side of ball, exclude Matt Ryan, exclude Calvin Ridley. Who are you taking? Even if it's a Madden, it's like Madden, or just looking at building a fantasy football. Who are you taking on that team
right now? As much as people are giving him grief right now because he's kind of been inconsistent of late, I still take Kyle Pitts. He's a generational talent. He just needs some motivation because there were some plays he was looking like, you know how Randy Moss was, like sometimes he'll take plays off or he'll kind of like, just half-ass it. Kyle Pitts has the talent. He just needs some motivation. But I would definitely take Kyle Pitts. Gage showed me something today. Like he really showed me something today with those catches he made. But I would definitely take Pitts followed by Gage. I would take Hayden Hurst, just for the speed. And I'll take CP84, of course. And hopefully the first thing that they do this offseason is keep CP84. He's Mr. Do Everything. So I will keep those 4. I will put them on my fantasy team, those 4. I would take Pitts, followed by Gage, followed by Hurst, and then I'll take CP84.
Oh, okay. So I got a question for you, Dre. So when we say about Kyle Pitts and you said it's the motivation, what do you think? What do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
I just think that he's frustrated because he's not getting a lot of targets, which is not his fault. It's not Matt Ryan's. It's just the O-line can't block shit. So I mean, like I saw today when I guess Sharp was opening the end zone and Matt Ryan couldn't even get the ball off because he had somebody in his face. That was 7 points if we would have got a clean pocket. So I think it's just he's not getting, because in Florida, I've seen him play, being a Georgia fan, I've seen him play in Florida. I've seen what he can do when he's in the zone. He's basically unguardable, but Mike and I, me and Mike talk about all the time. College and NFL is a whole different beast when you go, because it's more complex defenses and defensive coordinators know how to game plan a whole lot better than they do in college. So I think it's just the frustration that he's not getting touches, he's not getting looked at, and I just think that him being a rookie is just kind of wearing on his patience. But like I said before, it's the same thing that happened with Julio when he first came in. Julio, he didn't really get a lot of touches because he was still sitting behind Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez. And then eventually, as time went on, he started getting touches. So I think it's just the fact that he's not getting the touches that he's used to in Florida, and he's just gonna have to ride the wave out, because right now he's the only target. He's the only target that we have as far as that can get separation from a player. So teams are going to key in on him because nobody else on that team can get open. I mean, don't get me wrong. Gage made some plays today, but how often do we see that from him? How often do we see that from Sharp? How often do we see that from all these other receivers that can't get separation? Like I watched the game today, and it was crazy how, even when we was picking on Thomas, we still couldn't get the ball off because the receivers couldn't get separation. It's not something I'm used to. I'm used to Julio and Ridley just breaking open and catching passes. I'm used to Tony Gonzalez and Hayden Hurst just breaking passes. You know what I'm saying? And I think the lack of the fact that we can't get no separation on the perimeter and people are keying in on Pitts, I think that's what's causing him to lose motivation. And I think that once we start getting playmakers around him and he'll start getting those matches that he used to be seeing in Florida, I think he's going to flourish, but we just got to give him time. You know what I'm saying? But right now, he's looking like Randy Moss out there as far as taking plays off, because it was one play where Ryan threw the deep ball to him. He kind of slowed up, and it was almost an interception, but the guy missed the ball. So it's just little stuff here and there that I'm picking up, and I'm kind of like, maybe he's just not motivated. But, he's only a rookie, so I'm not going to, I told Mike I give rookies 3 years before I make judgment. So this is only his first year, so I'm not really tripping yet. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so the only reason why I say that because do you think it's also the lack of having that kind of leader in that particular group of players, as far as the receivers, that can actually motivate? I mean, when I'm talking about leaders, we're talking about leaders that can actually do damage in this league. Like,
Yeah,
like, like if Calvin Ridley would have still been here, or somebody like that, or Julio would have still been here.
right.
Do you feel?
Absolutely. Like remember when we had that group with Julio and Roddy, and then they had Tony Gonzalez, who was that leader. I think that's what the Falcons receivers are lacking. I mean, Matt Ryan can only do so much as a quarterback. Like he's already got to deal with everything else. So you always got to have that one person that's like the alpha male on that team. And we had that with Julio in that receivers room. And then when he got traded, it was Ridley's turn to step up. And then he kind of did his, he kind of had his own issues. So he was dealing with that. So there's really nobody that's stepping up to say, hey, I'm gonna bear the brunt of this cause, and I'm going to be the guy to lead everybody. So me personally, when it's like when you don't have that voice, like a veteran presence in a certain group, you see it. Like even in the even on defense, like you don't have that vocal leader like a Ricardo Allen or Canal Neal or I mean, even though he's kind of slacking lately, Deion Jones, Grady Jarrett. You don't have that in the receiver room. So I mean, I don't know what they're going to do as far as addressing that. Maybe bring in a veteran who can kind of lead them. Not right now because the season's almost over, but maybe next season bring in a veteran leader receiver who can kind of motivate these guys. Or maybe when Ridley comes back, he has his mind right. But it's got to take something because, like I said, Pitts, if Pitts can get his act together, he can be one of the best. He could be one of the best pass catchers in the league if he get his mind right.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. You know I got to do it to you.
Yeah, sip the red cup first.
Oh, I'm used to being put on the spot. This is nothing new, Mike.
You brought the name up. I kind of know where you're going with this, but I gotta pick your band on Calvin Ridley. What's your outside? We're gonna leave the mental illness out of it. All right, we don't know what's going on. All right.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, leave it in there.
Okay.
What's your true thoughts about what's your true thoughts on this Calvin Ridley and this entire ordeal? Just
honestly, bro, I couldn't even tell you honestly because we say we don't know a person's battle. We can only know what a person at their face value. A lot of people can do a real good poker face. I'm good at that. I'm good at a poker face because I could be smiling and laughing, and on the inside, I'm just like, I'm a war within myself. So, but I will say this. I think when Julio got traded, that kind of took a lot out of Calvin because, both of them being from Alabama, they had that bond. And, it was kind of like when Roddy did Julio, he kind of groomed Julio to be that number one guy. And I think Julio was doing the same with Calvin Ridley. And then everything went down, and then Julio ended up getting traded. And then Calvin Ridley all of a sudden is the guy now. And honestly, all mental issues aside, I'm not going to touch on that. I think he wasn't ready to be the number one guy. I don't think he was. That's just my opinion. I don't think he was ready. I don't think he was in that position to be one. I think he was used to being the Robin to Julio's Batman. Don't get me wrong. He's shown promise when Julio ended up leaving, but Mike, we seen it. He was short. He was alligator arming catches. He was scared to go across the middle. He was. It just seems like I was watching a totally different football player from what I saw from years past beforehand, and I was just like, something's not right. And I think the fact that when Julio got traded, it took a lot out of him because, being from the same, college and, basically follow each other's footsteps, you share that bond. And I think when Julio got traded, I don't know if it affected him how it went down. I don't know if it affected him when it actually happened. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. You just know that these guys go out and play 60 minutes of football and that's it. All I know is that, I honestly, and this is just my opinion, I may be wrong. I just think that he wasn't ready to be that number one guy just yet. So that's just my opinion. I just think he wasn't ready.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a thing that a lot of people been thinking about. Like you said, about with the Julio Jones being traded. Like you said, that was big brother to him.
Right. It was basically what Roddy White was to Julio. Like, you had, then you had it kind of, and then we go way back beforehand. You had Michael Jenkins, then you had Roddy White, and Roddy White to Julio, then Julio to Calvin, and then Calvin was going to take over for whoever was going to be Kyle Pitts. So it was basically the wide receiver, the pass catching room on the Falcons never was an issue because you always had that veteran presence in the room. You had a Tony Gonzalez, you had a Roddy White, you had that guy. Now it just seems like they don't have nobody because Ridley's gone, Julio's traded. What guy's going to step up and say, I'm going to be the guy to step up and say, hey, we need to do better? There's nobody. Like, I mean, who is there? Like, I mean, the honest question, who is there to be in that room to say, you know what, I'm going to take the brunt of this, the responsibility of this group, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to put it on my shoulders. Honestly, I don't think there's nobody. That's why I said I think next season they should look into bringing in a veteran receiver. That's just my opinion. Bring in somebody that has that voice and say, you know what, let me put this on my shoulders and let me lead this group so we can be the best that we can be. Because think about it. Before this season, did the Falcons ever have an issue of us catching the ball? Like prior seasons, like did we ever have an issue of getting the ball out and catching the ball?
2017.
Yeah, like we never had an issue. Like now it's like all of a sudden now the Falcons can't throw the ball to save their life. So I mean it's definitely like it's something that we probably have to look into. Like bring in a veteran receiver that it don't even have to be nobody flashy. It can just be somebody that's consistent and has a voice. Because like I said, Matt Ryan can only do so much.
That makes sense.
A question for everybody. This is a question for everybody. With this offense, the way it is, what's your course of action? How do you address the offense at this point, knowing that Calvin really is a question mark? We're gonna start with you. We're gonna what's your course of action? Whether it's free agency, the draft. Just based on what you've seen with this offense, where are you going with it?
That's a tough question. I think you need to go in the draft and get a young, thoroughbred type, number one wide receiver, a guy that's because we see him come out every year. Like you have I think his name's Justin Jefferson that came out of LSU. You have Jamar Chase that came out this year that's playing with Joe Burrow. I think you can go in the draft and get somebody. Now it was something that Dre said that I kind of agree with, and it's the whole deal with Matt Ryan. You guys know that I love Matt Ryan, but he talked about the beating that Matt Ryan's taking, being with this Falcons team. And if you go out and say, do what I'm talking about, draft a young wide receiver, another thing that we're not really focusing on with Kyle Pitts, he's talented, but it takes time to build that chemistry. And this is something that me, Mike, we always talk about. It's like, even if you go out, say you go get a Jamar Chase, or you go draft a Justin Jefferson, you're still going to need that time. That player's going to need that time with Matt Ryan. And that was the biggest thing I was upset about with Julio leaving. It's like, and even Calvin Ridley not being here, because he's been here for a couple seasons now. The things that we're seeing out of Kyle Pitts, like him slowing down on routes and stuff like that, that's just chemistry. That takes time of being in pressure situations. And Matt Ryan could just look at Julio and he know where Julio's going to be. Like if it's an option route, Julio, he knows just looking at Julio run routes, okay, he's going to the corner. He's going to break this route in. So if we do decide to keep Matt Ryan here, I'm not saying we're moving on from Matt Ryan because we know the cap situation. The problem that I have is if you go get a young wide receiver, it's still going to take time. Even if you bring in a veteran guy, it's going to take time for him to build that chemistry with Matt Ryan. So that's the biggest thing. And as Falcons fans, the number one thing that we're going to have to do really is be patient, because it takes time. Like I'm saying, it's going to take time. Like good news is Kyle Pitts could possibly be the number one guy. Like he's basically right now playing wide receiver. If we be real about it, he's not playing tight end. He's lining up outside. So technically, he could be the number one wide receiver next year. And then you go out and bring in another good wide receiver. They'll end up probably being the number two guy. And then you can move Russell Gage back to the slot position where he's best at. That's probably what will happen, or what I would do. It's just like I said, it's going to take time. So what Dre said about maybe moving on from Matt Ryan, like if it's another team out there that's like in the, they're a quarterback away from being a championship contender, then you may do that. You may say, look, let's give Matt Ryan, like they may go to Matt Ryan and ask him what he wants to do. Do you want to still be here, or do you want a chance to go to a contending team? And then we'll go out and get a young quarterback, because regardless if you put talent around Matt Ryan, it still takes time for that talent to gel. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people, they look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I know this is a long answer, but I'll just leave this is the last statement I'll make about it. When you see Tom Brady go down there with the Bucs and win a Super Bowl, what people are not realizing is he went out and got players that he's played with before, like Gronk and AB. He had played with those guys before, so they already kind of gelled before. He know those guys. It's like us going back and getting a player that played with us, like a Mohamed Sanu, or if Julio came back to the Falcons. Him and Matt Ryan had that chemistry. But say you go out, like Dre said, and bring in like a number one veteran guy, like a lot of teams do. Even a veteran guy is going to need time to gel with Matt Ryan and understand what Matt Ryan wants him to do in certain situations when the game is on the line. So I think that's really what's hurting this Falcons team, with Julio and Ridley not being here. So my long answer to this question is just, I would go out and get a young wide receiver regardless, because at the end of the day, I feel like Kyle Pitts really is going to end up being the number one wide receiver or the number one target, because they're already kind of grooming him this year to get that out the way. And that's why him and Matt Ryan is already gaining that chemistry. So whoever you bring in, then Matt Ryan's going to feel more comfortable with Kyle Pitts, whether you draft somebody or whether you bring in a veteran, because he's had this full season. He's been in the trenches playing with a guy like Kyle Pitts, and he'll know I can trust him in these situations. Even if you bring in an all-pro wide receiver, Matt Ryan has no chemistry with them. So whether they come in as a vet or being drafted, Matt Ryan has no chemistry. So we're going to basically be like back to square one with the Kyle Pitts this year. Matt Ryan's going to have to figure it out.
Quarterback, you're going to be at square one. Even if you draft a quarterback, you're still going to be 3-4 years away from him really getting that chemistry from a guy like Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage. It's still going to be a process. So when we look at it, we got to be patient.
Got to be patient.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah, we have to. Like I said earlier, it's a war of attrition right now. The only way we can go is up right now. I mean, like I said, 6 wins is in my book is a positive note, because I did not expect us to win 6 games this season. So, especially with this roster and with this turnover, I did not expect it. So, I agree. I agree with what Drew is saying right now. Like, the only way we can go is up.
That's tough. That's a tough question right there. I can see why Drew said that was a tough question right there, because like, man, where can you go? I mean, like you said, yes, we can say wide receiver, but then we still have the issues of protection that we have to deal with as well. And then not only with that, you still have the issues of having a consistent running game, to where you ain't got to rely on Cordero Patterson to be Mr. Everything. He should be a luxury, not a necessity. Damn, because I do. We do need a wide receiver. We do need like I said, it don't necessarily have to be in the first round, but you're gonna need a wide receiver that has that mentality of just going and get it, just saying fuck it, give me the ball, and he gonna make some plays. But going off the theory that I always say, you have to build a foundation, man. Because my thing is with offensively, I still work on that offensive line. I mean, like I said, you can still bring in another guy, and then just let him compete.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way I feel. It's just, I mean, what we got to lose? What we got to lose at this point?
That's why I say it's so tough because, like I said, you got too many glaring holes. You got too many glaring holes as far as the talent.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people say draft a receiver, I'm kind of leaning towards that, but me, I'm all about up front. You got to start up front and build your way back. That's what I was always taught. Start up front, build your way back. But there's also I also was taught, and I tell Mike all the time, sometimes you just draft the best player that's left on the board. And if there's a receiver, I know everybody talks about Jameson Williams from Alabama. It just seems like Falcons love to draft Alabama receivers. If he's left on the board and he's the best player on the draft, take him. I saw what he did against us in the SEC championship game. I would love to see him in red and black. So, but me, I'm all about front to back. That's how every team that's successful does it. They do it from front to back. They start at the line and then they work their way back. So, honestly, like I said, I agree with K Styles and I agree with you. There's so many glaring holes. We don't know where to start. It's like you're looking at a house and there's a bunch of holes. You don't know where you want to put your first brick. So I mean, it's going to take some time to get this team back to a competitive level as far as a contender. But key word here is patience. You gotta have patience because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be some dark. Like I said, I've been through some dark days as a Falcons fan, and Mike could tell you we've been through some dark days as a Falcons fan. So. I mean, Doug Johnson and Joey Harrington comes to mind. So I mean, I've been through it. So I mean, I've been through it. So I think this team. I think with this front office we have, I think they're going to get it right. I think the Falcons are going to have $28 million next year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. I think they're going to have $28 million in a salary cap space next year, so that could help. It's a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball coming up in this draft. We just got to draft smart. We got to draft smart, and I'm just glad Dummy Trough is not there to blow it again. So we'll see what happens this time. But I'm hopeful. If you're a Falcons fan, that's the only two words you need as a Falcons fan. You need patience and you need hope. That's what you need because it's going to be some dark days before you see the light. That's all I'm saying because it's going to be tough. But hey, this is what we built for. Being a Falcons fan is not for the faint of heart. So I'm just letting you know. So, but yeah, we just got to.
Somebody gonna get the wig quick. Go ahead. You know who it is.
I ain't gonna load you. I forgot the question that fast. I really forgot the question that fast.
That man took that shot and forgot everything, boy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my short answer. Just patience and hope, man. That's all I can say. Just patience and hope. And just watch this team.
So what's the question again?
Basically, looking at this offense, where are you starting? Whether it's free agency or draft, where are you beginning to make the necessary? Like, what are you building towards and why?
Dude, this is a tough question. Because don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure like everybody else was saying, we definitely want to like touch on the trenches. But one thing I know about trench play, you got to have continuity. Like if these guys could somehow gain chemistry together, it'll be. And I tell anybody that chemistry together go a long way more so than just plugging and placing. We've really been doing that over the years, plugging, placing. If you get these guys to play together and they can find continuity together where they can actually just like learn this offense, learn each other's steps, and play in unison, it'll go a long way.
I agree.
I will also, we definitely need wide receiver. I mean, that's a given, especially with everything that's been taking place. Wide receiver is definitely a must. I will also say we need a legitimate running back. Not some plug and play guys or whatever the case may be. We need legitimate backs. Guys that can hit the hole, they can see the holes, that have good vision all those things. I don't even need this. Like, you don't even need to be an all-purpose back. Just be a legitimate running back that, when we hand the ball off to you, you ain't gonna tiptoe. You can see the you have enough vision. Okay, that hole ain't there, but this hole right here, let me cut back right here. You know what I'm saying? I need that type of stuff going on. I love Matt as well. I would love for him to finish his career here, but I'm like anybody else. If he could go somewhere and get and play with a title contender, cool. But my heart of hearts, I feel like he want to finish his career in Atlanta. I believe he will finish his career in Atlanta. I also, and there may be a long shot for. I'm putting it out on here so you can come back and look at it again on YouTube. And if it don't happen, it don't. But I wholeheartedly believe that Matt's career may end up ending like a John Elway. Opportunity after opportunity, but coming up short, or dealing with bad years, and eventually you finally got the right coach that finally put you over the hump. Will he be a 2-time champion? Don't know. Is it possible? Very much so. So I
just need one. All I need is one. I'm good after that. That's all I need is one.
That's what I'm saying. Just give me one. But
just give me one. That's all I need is one. If he wins two, I'm good. But I just need one.
I could see Matt going out as a champion when it's all said and done. Because whether people want to believe it or not, Matt still got plenty left in the tank. He showed that today. He's played. Definitely. He still plays with fire and desire. Even though, like I said, the game was out of hand, he was still giving everything he got. Like, he could have easily melted in, like, F it. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't do that. This man was out here scrambling like a raggedy old jalopy trying to get a touchdown, and he getting drilled. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
that one play right there should let people know that's been hating on Matt Ryan and saying that that one play right there should shut them up for the rest of the time, because
it ain't gonna happen.
That man puts. I know it won't happen, but just to see how he, even when the game was out of hand, the way he was still trying to will this team to a touchdown, to a score. And I said it before, and I say it again: the day that Matt Ryan hangs up his cleats, Falcons fans are going to feel sorry, and they're going to regret the fact that they did him so wrong. Because when his next quarterback comes in, I'm not going to wish him to fail, because I want him to succeed. But when they see if he's starting to have these rough patches, I'm gonna be like, I told you so.
I think everybody gonna have that, because we're gonna be looking, because we've been saying this for years to most people. Like, look at the teams that have had great quarterbacks in years past, and when they great QBs retired, look what they've been stuck with. You know what I'm saying?
The Saints are a perfect example right now.
It ain't even the Saints to me, because see, the Saints right now, they just year one in without having a great QB. I look at teams like the Miami Dolphins, who've been trying to find their quarterback since Marino retired. I look at team
Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland. Denver's another one after Elway left. I mean, they had
but you're right though. When Elway left, they went through a rough patch, because their QBs was like Brian Greasy and Jake the Snake Plumber. So, like, come on, dog.
Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler.
Oh God, I forgot about Jay the Snake Plumber. So they had two snakes.
Another one too. The Chicago Bears. I mean, they got Justin Fields now, but when they Jim McMahon, what was the last great Chicago Bears quarterback after Jim McMahon?
Nobody knows. If the Bears fan heard our answer, they'd be throwing stuff at them.
Hey, they be punching the air like Trey from Boys in the Hood. Just
exactly. I mean, even Buffalo, like, even though I understand, like, people like Josh Allen, and he's decent for the most part, but even then, like, like, y'all been looking for somebody since Jim Kelly hung it up. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
Even Jacksonville been looking for a QB since Mark Brunell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
David Garrard was the last one. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, people be thinking, like, you can just find these guys and they're going to walk through the door and they're just going to be good. That's not possible, because we've seen a lot of folks that had high values and was considered to be the next great so-and-so and so-and-so, and they did absolutely nothing. Like, I'm saying, like,
it's like Mike said. It's like Mike said, man. Sometimes, you bring a player in, and they got to build that continuity. It's going to take years. So, don't get me wrong. I've been critical of Matt Ryan at sometimes because sometimes he frustrates me with a lot of things. But you got to give the man his due. That man has been probably the most consistent quarterback that we had ever. That's saying a lot because I know a lot of people are still hung up on Vic. I get that, but this man gave his heart and soul for this team, for the city. He's done what he's asked. He's never back talk. He's never trashed the Falcons in the media. He's never done that, and people are still shitting on him. Right. I'm just like I'm saying and I say it all the time. And people think I'm crazy when I say this. Matt Ryan is the most disrespected quarterback in football. And most of the disrespect comes from our own fans. It don't even come from because I can expect it from rival fans, but when it comes from our own fans, I'm just like, wow.
Listen, dude, I've talked to fans of other teams, and they be like, if it was somewhere they could trade to get Matt, they will run it all day, every day. Because they feel like he would be the missing link to get them over the top. I don't talk to Brown fans like, yes, please give us Matt. Please give us Matt.
Dude, a friend of mine who's a Cowboys fan, before they got Dak, she was trying to get Matt Ryan to come to Dallas.
Oh yeah, all the time. Every time you
and she wanted to come to Dallas. And think about it. Look at the football landscape because we talk about with Breeze retiring, we always talked about the big three: Brady, Breeze, and Rodgers. Breeze is gone. You got Rodgers, you got Tom Brady, and then you got the young quarterbacks. You got the Mahomes, you got the Lamar Jacksons, you got the Herberts, you got these guys. After that, what other? I mean, most of these teams don't even have great quarterbacks. So if I'm a Falcons fan, I would shut up and be quiet because
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you though. You mentioned a couple of folks that I definitely don't put in front of Matt. And
oh no, I'm not saying I wouldn't put him in front. I'm just saying like as far as the football landscape, like as far as
okay.
you got the big three and then you got the young gunners. I'm just saying like. I'm just looking at it as from a football landscape. Most of these teams don't have great quarterbacks, and I see people still complaining about Matt. Like you should see, like look at Detroit. Detroit would be happy to have Matt Ryan if they could.
Yeah, imagine being a Jets fan the last decade or so.
Man, look, they still looking for a quarterback. I'm sure they'll be happy to take Matt Ryan. So I mean,
they definitely would have loved to have Matt back in 2010.
Boy, that boy, if it wasn't for that defense, boy, they'd have been absolute hot doo-doo.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah,
exactly.
So my question would be is since we talk about this, what team do you feel like would bring would you see Matt Ryan else play for it, just in a hypothetical sense, that could get him over to where he can be more respected?
Honestly, I don't know.
Y'all want my honest answer?
I don't even know.
I say Cleveland.
You want my honest answer?
Go ahead.
The team we just played.
The 49ers.
San Francisco. Yeah. But I don't know if he wants to play for Shadoofus again, though.
I mean, I get exactly. I mean,
it's like, nah, bro, that's like playing with the Falcons. How the hell he gonna go to San Francisco? They defense. Have you seen that defense? They got Nick Bosa and 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 Nick Bosa. That's all they got.
Hey. Well, if it ain't them, it's definitely Cleveland.
I said Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland. Man.
Hey, I could say this is a far shot.
Baltimore. If I was Baltimore, I would trade Lamar. I would get Matt Ryan. I guarantee they'll win a championship.
I said two teams. Two teams for me would be, and I see people saying in there. One guy said the Ghost Peppers. I say either Pittsburgh or Denver.
I'm gonna throw another team. I'm gonna throw another team in that mix that could possibly do something with Matt because they actually have, like, their wide receiver core ain't great, but he can work with it, and they definitely got a defense. I would say Washington.
But Chase Young, I'm not calling him injury prone just yet, but this is his second ACL tear, and this is the second one. So Chase Young. Chase Young.
Oh.
Shit, but like I said, he got all the offensive weapons that he needs.
Yeah, McLaurin's under. I mean, everybody talks about DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams, and rightfully so. But Terry McLaurin's a pretty underrated receiver.
Yeah, McLaurin. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
So
but
I mean, like I said, that Washington would be a good team because they actually got a defense, and Matt don't have to be. And Matt just got to do enough, which I feel like Matt. We all seen Matt can do enough to get you a win, as long as your defense can stop something, and their defense can stop something.
Yeah, but we're just hypothetically speaking. So if you want to trade Matt Ryan, you better fire up that man. Because me personally, I think he's gonna finish the Falcon, but that's just my opinion.
No, I probably the only reason why I say this is what if, and we actually had it on the show. What was a couple weeks ago? How do you think this fan base would actually take it if the Falcons would have traded him to the Saints and he ended up winning the Super Bowl over there?
They'll never let it down. They'll never let it down. Time would stand still. You ever seen that movie Back to the Future and they had the alternative universe in 1985? Yeah. That'll be exactly what that would be. It'll be that.
No, I'm gonna tell you. You see how Chauncey was on early with that ammonia bottle.
Man, and my dad's a Saints fan. He would never let that down. He was like, "Yeah, Matt Ryan won the Super Bowl with us. He couldn't win one with y'all. I'll probably have to kill him."
Yeah, because I always like to ask this question because like I would say if you want to trade Matt Ryan, would you trade him to a division rival? Because if he sucks that badly, wouldn't that make the division rival worse?
Honestly, honestly, I know it's an unwritten rule not to trade within your conference or your division. But man, look, if the price is right and the money talks and bullshit runs a marathon, guess what? I'm pulling that trigger. That's just me. That's just me.
Hey, that should be hilarious. That should be hilarious.
You better give me at least three.
Yeah, they better. I'm talking about. They better give me the keys to Bourbon Street and the Mardi Gras key and all that shit.
Not the keys to Bourbon Street.
You better make it worthwhile.
But just think about all the people that don't like him. If you pulled a stunt like that and he win a Super Bowl with a division rival.
You know how? Do you understand the magnitude of that? Not only do our most hated rival win a Super Bowl, they won a Super Bowl with our quarterback that most of our fans deem washed up. That
would be very interesting.
I would delete I would delete all my social media because I won't want to hear it.
I ain't gonna lie to you, because I don't beef with Saints fans like that. But I'm not gonna hold you. I'll probably be antagonized the Falcons fans worse than Saints fans would be. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, my dad's a Saints fan, so I have to deal with it when I go see him because he'll definitely remind me. He'll definitely remind me. Because
if you think about how those two teams are built,
they're
really just a quarterback away.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it, K-Styles, I'm glad you said that. Watching the Saints now, they get talk more about their defense than their offense. That's weird considering the fact that Saints teams from previous years, they would talk more about their offense than their defense. Now it's done flip flop. Now they're more talked about than their defense now. So that's the crazy part. Like, I mean, but that's the parody of football. That's the belly of the beast. That's the nature of the beast. So
Question. I got something for y'all. It's who I'm gonna get it to?
If you're gonna give it to me, I need to refill my cup.
I'm gonna get it due.
Okay.
Your boy was out again with a hamstring. Do you think that Julio Jones' career is over?
You said, do I think Julio's career is over?
Yeah, Julio Jones he just had another hamstring. He was out again because of a hamstring. You think his career is pretty much done?
I don't think his career is over, but I'll say this. The Julio that we knew is probably over as far as him being the player that he once was. And to be honest with you guys, and I think I said this on one of the heavy hitter shows early this year, when we were having that whole debate about Julio leaving. I really think that Julio knew that injury that he had was worse than everybody realized. I really think that, and I think that one of the reasons that he wanted to be traded, and this is just my conspiracy theory of why he wanted to be traded, he couldn't live up to the standard of being Julio Jones, because we know him as Mr. 300 yards in the game, a guy who could carry the team as a wide receiver, who could carry the load. Now him going to Tennessee, going to another team, they may expect the same thing, but I feel like we were going to hold him to a higher standard than any other team would, because he was been in Atlanta. We've seen him do these type of things. So I don't necessarily think that Julio's career is over, but I'll say this. I think that the Julio of getting 300 yards in the game, the Julio that we knew and loved when he was in his prime at the top of his game, I think that Julio may be over, because once you start having injuries, we've seen it with AJ Green. Once he started having those injuries, he was never the same. That when he was playing with Cincinnati, now he's playing with the Arizona Cardinals, but he's still not that same AJ Green that he once was. And Shannon Sharp talked about this on Fox Sports 1 on their show, that once you start having those soft tissue injuries, them hamstring and stuff like that,
ankle injuries,
you're never the same. And then you got to look at Julio Jones' size, the way that he comes in, runs in and out of his breaks and stuff for his routes and stuff, to be like 6'3", 225 pounds. Like, your body's not made to twitch the way he could, the quick twitch ability that he had. Based off of his body style, he shouldn't be able to run routes and do the things that he's able to do. So I think, I won't say his career is over, but I'll say Mr. 300 yards, them days is probably over. I mean, there's a few guys that you can, I consider him a mutant, so I don't want to say it's over, because I've seen Adrian Peterson come back from a torn ACL and almost run for 2,000 yards. So I won't say it's over, but I'll say this: if he really has that, with Julio, you never know, like, because we seen him here with us last year and one and out. Is he really hurt, or is he just in his feelings? But if those injuries that he's having are real, I think the Julio that we knew in his prime is done with. So he's going to be marginalized. He's not going to be that same player where when he was, like, as I considered him an X-Man, he was a mutant where he could go for 300 yards in a game. Those days might be over with, because we've seen here in Atlanta the last couple years where he catch a deep pass, he run off, run to the sideline. So if he's on that, then the Julio that we knew and loved, trucking people and pull something and then go back into the game, like, those days is over with. As you get older, Father Time start knocking, and once Father Time
is undefeated. It's undefeated. It's undefeated. My question to you guys: How old is Julio? Ain't he like in his 30s? He's like 32, right? 32. 32 in the NFL is like 58. So, I mean, I agree with you on that one, man. It's like, once those soft tissue injuries and ankle injuries, like, basically your lower extremities, once your lower extremities start giving out, you're not the same player. I mean, look at DeAndre Hopkins. He's sitting with a bad knee. AJ Green, Drew brought up AJ Green. A lot of because the way these receivers, like, the way they cut, they are so explosive. And they got this technology, and they got all this, this science and stuff, but old nature is still the end all be all. So when nature says time for you to go, guess what? Time for your ass to go.
They said you can shut technology off. You can't shut nature off.
Right. You know the old saying, Father Time is undefeated. I mean, I know Tom Brady's putting up a good fight right now, but eventually Father Time gonna catch him too.
Man, it's because of the team he playing on. He been lost that fight.
Yeah. So
he been lost that fight. You just before you got to Tampa, you was playing in the Pittsburgh division with the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins, and so you pretty much could put in permanent marker that was 6 wins for the Patriots. along with the fact that Pittsburgh, they played Pittsburgh every year, and Pittsburgh couldn't beat them worth a damn. so like it was easy.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. You're right. Yeah, and
no matter how many times if you look at the 2 Super Bowls that Pittsburgh won, you notice in both those playoff runs they ain't had to play New England.
Just true.
But every year they play New England knocked them straight out the postseason. Every year, it never failed.
Matter of fact, the one year they went what 15-1, and they got knocked out by New England when they went 15-1 that year. I forgot what year
in the AFC championship game. They got smoothed out by New England.
Yeah, at home. So this is what I'm saying about as far as age. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in the NFL, when you're past your 30s, in real life, it's kind of like a dog. You know, they always talk about such and such in dog years. I'm just saying that Julio, a wide receiver at 32 years old is like me at 48, old as hell, like past their prime. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean. I'm not saying that he's out there with a walker playing. I'm just saying like when you're playing a high level sport for so many years and you get over that certain threshold, you're gonna be considered past your prime. Like don't let these guys, Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan and Tom Brady, fool you that they can play forever. Like I always said that when you play a high level sport, your shelf life is anywhere between 5 to 7 years. If anybody goes past 7 years, consider that a blessing because most people don't even make it that far. Some people don't even make it to 4 years. I mean, look at Todd Gurley's a prime example. He was one of the best running backs in the league. Now he's out the league. He doesn't even have a job. And he's only, 27, 26, 27? Yeah. So, I mean, your whole career could go just like that. So, when I see guys playing in their 8th or 9th or 10th year, I consider that a blessing.
Hey, I'm about to say, I was going to use a better analogy. Have y'all ever been to the strip club and then you see that old busted stripper?
Oh, my God.
You sound like that like old girl from the Players Club where Luke told her, she sat in Luke's lap and Luke told her to get off of her.
She got bullet hole wounds. She got C-section scars and all that. And she's thinking that she could be up there with the young girls. She like 40 something and the girls like 21 and stuff. Yeah. That's what he talking about.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. But I honestly, I think Julio's a great receiver. I just think the sun is starting to set on his career. That's me. That's me though.
Right.
He could always come back and retire as a Falcon. That's all. I'm just gonna put that out there.
He could, but
he could. We'll see.
I don't think he would.
Nah, that bridge burnt.
That bridge.
Arthur Smith said you can. Arthur Blake said you can't pay me to come back and play for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
You asked if Julio will come back.
And you know what I said? I said he could. I said he could. See, I said he could. I didn't know it was that bad. Cause think about me. I'm naive. I ain't gonna lie.
He ain't talked off the blank yet since the trade got announced. He ain't called that man and said, "Hey dog, how you doing?"
And that's the thing about it. I never, because maybe I was naive to it because I saw these receivers are divas anyway, like Antonio Brown. I never thought Julio was that type of person until towards the end of the whole thing. And then when everything started coming out about how everything went down, I never knew he was like that. So it's crazy.
Yeah, but like they always say, like you just said, every wide receiver has some type of diva in them.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Like I know we talk about Randy Moss, we talk about Terrell Owens, and rightfully so, but every receiver has a little bit of diva in them. Everybody. It's just some portray it more than others. You know what I'm saying? Like Ocho Cinco and all those guys. So
yeah, because you gotta think about it. Their whole career and all their paychecks rely on the quarterback giving them the ball. So there's like they looking at every play as maybe I'm not gonna play. Give me the damn ball. Now, the one receiver you haven't really heard that much stuff from is a guy like a Larry Fitzgerald. But you never know.
Yeah.
He be in that locker room and there saying, hey, give me the damn ball.
Yeah. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, he's an exception to the rule. Like that guy is. If there was one person I wanted to see win a Super Bowl, it was him. I wanted him to win one so bad.
That dude gave up an opportunity to go play with a contender to stay in Arizona, man.
I remember it was a couple years ago when before they got Randy Moss to go to New England, they was trying to get Larry.
And he turned it down.
He turned it down. He wanted to stay with Arizona. If you want to know some loyalty, that's some loyalty. Like he had plenty of opportunities to go to the Eagles when the Eagles had McNabb, and they wanted to get him, and then they ended up getting Terrell Owens. Like he had a chance to go win a ring, but he wanted to stick it out. Like that's loyalty. Like, whew.
Right,
man, it's crazy,
bro. You ain't like that. I mean, that man could have definitely helped some teams.
He could have helped us. Shit.
Y'all hear me?
Right. What's up?
What you saying, Mike?
Y'all hear me? It's 6-0. It's 6-0.
What you talking about?
Wait a minute. 6-0.
Oh, he's talking about the Saints in the Buccaneers game, y'all.
Hey, Mom, hey.
The Saints is up 6-0 on Tampa.
Dude, I ain't got my score track up, so how am I supposed to know?
Well, consider the fact that my son is here. I'm watching Disney Junior, so I'm not even watching the game right now. I'm not even watching the game right now. I'm watching Disney Junior because my son is here.
Yeah, we were talking about Tom Brady being done, and it's literally 6-0 right here. They haven't scored a single point.
Well, they almost blew it to. Then they almost blew it to. They almost blew it to Buffalo last week, right? Buffalo almost came back and beat them, right?
Yeah.
The Saints already beat them this year. If they win this game, they have been to swept the Bucs this year.
That's nuts, man. That's crazy, man.
For the second straight year, because they swept them last year. So,
the main thing, they like I said, the main thing and how you beat Tom Brady, and I don't know why a lot of teams don't do. Well, that's because that's why he dinks and dunks, because if he gets that pressure up the middle, and like you said, for most guys that are statuesque, you pressure up the middle, you throw the timing off.
Yep, you're right.
That's what the Saints
and play
do.
bump and run on your wide receivers. Exactly what Tennessee did when they played against the Patriots back in that 2019 playoff game. They played bump and run on the wide receivers, which ultimately led Brady could not get the ball off. Same thing going on in Atlanta right now currently because people playing bump and run against our wide receivers because they can't beat press coverage.
Yeah, and I will say this: the Saints have a defense that can match up with the Bucs' offense too, as well.
Right.
Yeah, they do. I could say that definitely. So.
All right, because they motherfucker want to fight folks on the goddamn field. That's why. But like you said, that's the kind of defense that you do. You want a physical style. You just don't want it so physical that they get penalties every damn 2 minutes. But
yeah, that's true.
Type of physicality.
Well, yeah, I tell Mike all the time, I want knuckleheads on my defense. I want folks out there that want to play.
I want the same thing too.
I want knuckleheads. I mean, I'm tired of. I mean, we get choir boys too, but I'm tired. I want some knuckleheads. I want some knuckleheads to go out there and punch you in the mouth.
Here you go. You get them folk. They be like,
and then they wonder why our defense can't hold water. I need some knuckleheads. I need some folks out there that can punch folks in the mouth and not be scared about it.
So with that, let's say we had a chance to get the knucklehead. So if it happened a couple years ago and there would have been a possible Vontaze Burfict signing, would that have been one knucklehead you want on the team?
You know what? Honestly, even though he had all those issues and everything he did, he was still a hell of a player. Hell yeah.
He was a good player.
He was a good player.
I'm about to say Vontaze Burfict was a good player. He just did some wild stuff.
He did some stupid stuff. Yeah.
At this point, I would have took it.
Oh yeah, but if the Falcons had a chance to get him when he was at the peak of his powers, hell yeah, I'll take him.
But the thing about it was he did all his wild shit against the Steelers. He ain't really doing it against nobody else.
Yeah, you right about that.
Matter of fact, have been dead against Pittsburgh, boy.
Matter of fact, he started the demise of Antonio Brown when he knocked him clean out that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if the Falcons had a chance to get him in the back in the day, I would love to have him on my team. That would be one knucklehead I would love to have, Vontaze Burfict. Because he was a good player. He just did stupid stuff. But every night you need a player like that that's rough around the edges because those players will play their ass off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I miss the days of seeing my linebacker snort party on the sideline.
I'm telling you, man.
I miss the days of Harvey Dahl stomping on folks' ankles in the pile.
Harvey Dahl and who was the other?
Dahl used to be wild.
Who was the other guy? It was Harvey Dahl. And it was another guy. It was two of them. Tyson Clabo. I miss those guys because they ain't give a fuck. They didn't.
Cause hell, even when Jonathan Babineau was there, boy, he was doing that shit too. You think nobody said nothing about it?
Man, look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. You know, Deion Sanders is my favorite Falcon of all time, but Jonathan Babineau to me is number 2 because that dude played consistently in and out every time. Like I know we had Jonathan Abraham, who was another favorite Falcon of mine, but that guy was the anchor. Like before we had Grady Jarrett, Jonathan Babineau was the anchor of that defense. So whenever time he played, he was the anchor of that defense. He was one of my favorite Falcons. So I got to put that out there.
So, I'll be like, hey, like LT, I'm like, so when they defense ain't playing, they have a line ready for them every time they get to the sideline. They're like, okay, good play, coach.
But yeah, I love
like a bunch of crazy dogs. That boy did a line. Did a line over there.
Whatever he did, it worked. It worked. But yeah, I love Babs, man. I used to call him the USS Babineau because every time he made a play, he always was there to make a play. He was always there to make a play. So I know he's probably he's probably one of the forgotten Falcons. But matter of fact, sometimes I even get on YouTube to watch his highlights. That's how good he was to me.
See, but the thing about like you said with Babineau and John Abraham was they were good, but you saw the leadership. That
veteran presence. Yeah, that veteran presence. Because Babineau was with us for a minute. He was there for like what 10, 11 years almost.
Baz, I think Baz got drafted by us back in like 05.
05. So
he was 05.
Yeah. So he was there for a minute. He was there for about 19 years. He was there. I know he was there for the 12 NFC Championship game.
Yeah, he was in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he was in
the Super Bowl. He was on Super Bowl time. That was his last season with us. He retired.
Okay, yeah. So, and Grady Jackson. I forgot all about Grady Jackson and Corey Peters. Man, I remember Corey Peters. I miss those guys. Where they at? Maybe they need to come back.
You see what you just said. Now you see Corey Peters still playing out there in Arizona. Man had a decent career so far. But then man used to be a Falcon, and you let that man walk for what?
Well, same thing with Abraham. Even though I know he's going through it right now. When he went to Arizona, he got 12 sacks, and I was like, why we let this guy go?
And the crazy part about it was because, like, remember the previous year, he took a pay cut to come back to Atlanta.
That hurt my heart.
Take another pay cut. They wanted him to take a lower pay cut to say he was like, okay, I ain't doing that now. Like
that hurt my heart when they let Abraham go. Mike
hurt a lot of us right now.
Mike could tell you when we signed Abraham, I hit Mike up and told like, dog, we got John Abraham.
Yeah.
Boy, I remember because I used to watch John Abraham with the Jets, and it was him and fucking who it was.
It was him and I forgot what other guys name. Sean Ellis, yeah. But if you go way back, I remember John Abraham because he played at South Carolina and he used to terrorize us because I was a Georgia fan. He used to terrorize Georgia. I think the one year he had like 23 and a half sacks that one year. And I was like, I don't know how the Falcons are going to get this guy, but get him. And then when we made the trade to get him, and I hit Mike up, I was like, bro, we got John Abraham.
Yeah, they don't.
The only thing I can say was, y'all might laugh at me for saying this, but back in the day when video games are actually competitive, especially Madden, compared to what it is now, boy, that 2007 drone Falcons defense, oh God.
Man, look,
when you had Abraham on one side, Colonel on the other side, Ron Coleman and Babineau, boy, that was a lethal front.
I forgot, he brought a Ron Coleman. Damn, that's a
Ron Coleman was one of my favorites. Him, Babineau, Abraham.
Man, look, I ain't
gonna lie to you. One of my favorite players on the team from back in the day was Brady Smith. Because Brady Smith might not made that flashy play for you, but when you needed that joker to make a play the most, that he come through for you.
I remember when I was playing Madden, I used to put the Falcons in 3-4, and I had Abraham playing linebacker and just rush all game.
Hey man, that's how they do. But like I said, and the main problem was we started getting rid of all the glue guys.
Yeah,
and then started trying to go for the flash guys.
Yeah, Ray Edwards bum ass come to mind.
Please don't. Now I gotta go back to therapy.
There you got,
the crazy thing about it is because I think we was trying to get I don't know, Charles Grant from Carolina, and he ended up going, I think it was Charles Johnson. He ended up going back to Carolina, so we ended up getting Ray Edwards, and then he totally flamed out. So yeah, I was just like, I think this dude was more concerned about being a model than a football player.
The downfall for the Falcons was when Dimitrov literally forced Mud Duck to retire. The man wanted to continue to play, but instead of you giving him a contract, you was like, no. So the man wanted to play nowhere else because he done spent all his years playing for the Falcons. So he went on ahead and hung it up. And I don't think I forget you Dimitrov for that yet. Because you really let our glue go for no reason.
Y'all about to make me cry. Y'all about to make me cry for real, man. Bringing up all these old players.
Hey, man, shoot. Hey, you got to appreciate. You got to appreciate the past in order to move to the future, man.
Okay, I do have this. One guy said they let Brooklyn go to Dallas for what? If you remember that divisional playoff game against Arizona, I remember it very vividly. This is why,
please, Dre, please don't do that.
I got to. The only reason why I'm doing this because I'm just letting them know this is why we let Keith Brooklyn go.
This man couldn't cover
when it's third and 18, and you rush the linebacker. Why are you rushing the quarterback? Knowing all you gotta do is drop back and play the line. Why are you gonna rush and blow your assignment and then you give Arizona? If we would have got that ball back, we would have won that game. We would have won that game.
But you know what's crazy?
Yeah, third and 20. That's what it was. Third and 20. Yeah,
you know what's crazy that you say that because I am my heart of heart, and people might think I'm being a homer, but I feel like if we would have got the ball back for that final drive, Matt would have drove us downfield to got us that win. We would have beat Carolina that next week, and we would have had a home. And we would have, and if the playoff race if the playoffs would have played the way it played out, we would have had home field for the NFC Championship game that season versus Philadelphia, which I felt like Philadelphia just did skate by us because it was bad enough. We had I'll never forget the play. Adam Jennings came up to field the punt, but he never touched it. But they called it a muff punt. But by the fact that we had a challenge level, we had no timeouts to even challenge the play. It led to Philadelphia keeping the ball, and I think they scored on the next play with Brian Westbrook. But I felt like that was going to be a revenge game for the Falcons. But like I said, at my heart of hearts, I really believe we would have played the Super Bowl that year. Yeah, we would have got if that 3rd and 18 play did not.
It was 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20, and Marquis said it perfectly. Chris Collinsworth said, Keith Brooklyn, what are you doing? Because I remember I was in Jacksonville and I was already gone off the Hennessy, and I threw my cup in the yard because I was so mad. All we had to do was just play the line, and you rushed the quarterback. And on top of that, you rushed Kurt Warner, knowing that he's going to throw the ball to the hot spot. And lo and behold, Anquan Bolden caught the ball, and I was like, you know what?
It wasn't Bolden, it was a tight end. I can tell you the whole play sequence. The first play, they were in a dive play with Edgerrin James.
Yeah,
we stuffed it. The second play, they tried to run the in and around. John Abraham blew the play up, which made them lose hella yards. And that's when that third down play happened. I can tell you the whole sequence.
Right. So to that person that asked why Keith Brooklyn went to Dallas, that's why. That's why.
But be that as it may, he's been remembered for that play. We have to give credit where credit is due. Keith Brooklyn was one of the better linebackers that played for us. People remember him for that one play, but I tell you all the time, bro, I still remember that 0-2 season when he was second team All-Pro. That man was a monster in that 3-4 defense under Wade Phillips.
Him and Kearney and all those guys. Like I said, if you're a new Falcons fan and you always talking about how the Falcons don't have a good defense, go back to the early 2000s when the Falcons had a pretty good defense. When they had guys like Kearney and they had guys like Keith Brooklyn and who's
you forgot one more player, and it helped Keith Brooklyn be the guy that he was too. And you forgetting Chris Draft did the dirty work.
Oh, Chris Draft, my guy.
Chris Draft did the dirty work for Keith Brooklyn the flow.
Oh, don't forget about Ellis Johnson and Ed Jasper, man, in that middle.
Oh yeah, Ellis Johnson, Ed Jasper. Let's see who else we could throw in there. One of my favorite Falcons, rest in peace, Keon Carpenter. cleaning up house.
You don't know how many better games that man don't won for me, boy.
Hey, look, this is the part of the show where everybody's like, "Who are these people talking about?" This is old school Falcons we talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
This is back then where we was like, you know, our quarterback. We didn't know who our quarterback was. It was either gonna be Joey Harrington, or Brian Leftwich, or Doug Johnson.
When your cornerback was big player rating, that was a double entendre because you don't know he gonna catch an interception or give up a touchdown.
Oh, get burned, yeah.
Big burner.
I'm talking about Ray Buchanan, boy. Let me tell you, boy, that better he'll catch you a pick, no doubt about it. But good God, he'll get toasted on a deep ball.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, and everybody talks about Asante Samuel when he played with us. I was like, oh, y'all forgot about old Ray Buchanan. Ray Buchanan was Asante Samuel before Asante Samuel.
Facts.
And everybody talking about Fabian Moreau playing bad corner and Justin Houston. I don't know if anybody remember Jason Webster.
No, you know what? God. You know what? No. I know somebody worse than him. Chris Owens.
That's a name that should never be mentioned here again. He disgraced the number 21. Hell, even Jerome Bolden wasn't a great corner, but he didn't disgrace the number 21.
Oh,
yeah,
you know what?
Honestly,
they need to retire that 21 because it seems like every cornerback that wears 21 for us is trash. It's trash. And I ain't gonna lie. I don't think Trufant was trash. I think Trufant was actually a very good corner. Trufant had to deal with a doggone defense that front seven wasn't worth a damn for years. Like pretty much his whole time in Atlanta, our front seven was not good. He's been out here in coverages for like 5-6 seconds and whatnot. I can't bash you on that. Somebody brought up Chris Houston and Dante Robinson. Man, y'all going way back.
Don't make me bring up Jared McBurrows.
Oh God, man, look.
Don't make me bring up Corey Wire. Just alone as a safety.
Oh God,
don't make me bring that name up.
He said Coy Wire.
Wait. Did somebody
converted the linebacker?
Did somebody say Thomas Deku yet?
After I saw that pose he did at Cal, I was done with him. After I saw that pose, I was like, yeah, I see why.
Oh my God.
Boy, these
y'all do Dominique Franks.
Y'all gonna have me.
I got one for you. I know y'all finna laugh at this one. Chevis Jackson.
And you know the crazy thing about it is he had so much promise coming out of LSU, and he so disappointed me. He so disappointed me because LSU's DBU, and he was good in college. I don't know what happened between that and when he came to the NFL. I don't know.
Never forget the time he caught a pick six off Drew Brees in his rookie season in 2008. But I thought we found us a gem in the late round. So I was so wrong.
That's so wrong. You know who you remind me of? You remind me of what's the guy's name that we drafted in the second round? Dan Quinn drafted him. What's the guy's name?
Jalen Collins.
Yeah, that's who you remind me of. Jalen Collins. That's who it is. Yeah, Jalen Collins. That's who you remind me of. Had so much promise, and then he fell completely off. So
all right. Well, let's go ahead and close this thing off, man, because I'm about to start going back and start looking at some old. Wait a minute,
man. Look, I'm on YouTube right now, pulling up old Falcons highlights.
hey, I could tell you who was an underrated corner for the Falcons, and most people wouldn't even think of his name, and that was one of my boys. He was one of my favorite Falcons, and that was Kevin Mathis.
Kevin Mathis
was Mr. Pick Six.
Yeah. Kevin Mathis was a good one. Brent Grimes is another one too. I love Brent Grimes.
Oh, Brent.
So y'all gonna leave Ashley Ambrose off this list. Okay, this is what we're doing today. This is what we do.
I like Ambrose, man. He reminds me of what's the other guy we had just recently? Denard. Denard was a good one. I like Denard. Denard was good. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, man, Ambrose couldn't stay healthy. But I mean, but you see, we are real Falcon fans. You see all these doggone players that we just named, folks, all these folks
Bro,
looking
look, hey,
who
look,
this
25.
guy
Hey,
is?
Yeah. And
hey.
like I said, if you're a recent Falcons fan and we bringing up names, just go to YouTube and look up their highlights.
Even that, but this goes to show you, like, people talking about losing, they tired of losing, but you ain't seen losing. Because listen, I was here for Jeff George.
Shoot, I was here for when we was in the NFC West and we was getting beat up by the Niners and the Rams.
Right.
Yeah. So D'Angelo Hall, I liked him, but then he started getting cocky, so I call him Angelo Hall because every time he played Carolina, Steve Smith will make him his bitch.
Hey, didn't he always say that he used to let people burn him on purpose?
Well, it must have been a lot. It must have been a lot because every time he played against Steve Smith would whoop him.
I just remember that one game with D'Angelo Hall. It made me mad too. I don't know if y'all remember this Lions receiver named Mike Furry.
Yeah.
He just started playing wide receiver that game and burnt the shit out of his ass, boy.
Man, I can pull up as many times as
Hines Ward burnt him with one cleat on.
Just go to YouTube.
I still remember I think it was 06 when we played Cincinnati and doggone Chad Johnson was crying about not scoring the touchdown on him.
Right. And he did, and I will say this: he did hold T.O. to no touchdown,
one catch,
and that money one catch. Yeah, so I will say that. But it just seems like every time he plays Steve Smith, I remember that one game he played against Steve Smith, he got 3 straight pass interference calls.
Steve Smith was a dog. Shit.
Yeah, that's why I said I was like, you can guard everybody, else, you can cover everybody else, but every time you play Steve Smith, you just forget how to play.
Because Steve Smith knew how to get in people's heads. He knew how to get in people's heads, but he didn't do it like T.O. He didn't do it like T.O. And
honestly, and even though he played for Carolina, Steve Smith was one of my favorite players. like I love watching him play. I love watching, even though he played against us twice a year. I was kind of rooting for him low key when he played against us. So don't kill me. Don't kill me about
it. My two favorite moments when he told the kid to lift the ice up. And when he jacked up Roman Harper when he scored that touchdown against
with the helmet off and everything, like I mean, and I wish somebody said Steve Smith Hall of Fame. I absolutely agree. He definitely deserves to go. Definitely deserves to go.
And guess what? When Steve Smith got drafted, he was just he was just expected to be a kick returner.
Hey man, that just lets you know that it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Crazy how the kick returner caught the game when a touchdown against a very good Rams team in the playoff game. I never get it. He caught that deep post and it was all money after that.
Right. Steve Smith, I think Steve Smith was 5'7". I think he was 5'7", but that boy played like he was 6'8".
Well, that motherfucker didn't give a damn.
He did not. Every time I seen him, every time he played against us, he killed us.
And this is why we talk shit about Olamide Zaccheaus and Christian Blake. This is why. This is why we give so much flack about the wide receivers for the Falcons, is because at the end of the day, regardless of how big you are or whatnot, it's not necessarily. You ain't necessarily got to have the biggest wide receiver, but you got to have the guys that are willing to play bigger than what they are.
And guys that are willing to have heart to play play the position to the best of their ability. Because like I said, Steve Smith did it all. He'll beat you deep. He'll go in the middle. He'll make the tough catches. Triple team. I remember that guy. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he was playing against the Bears. And I think he was getting triple team most of the game and still got 12 catches for like over 100 yards.
Exactly.
Like that dude was a straight monster. Like, I remember when Carolina let him go, I was like, even though I know he was going to go to Baltimore, I was like, off the blank, get on the phone and bring him to Atlanta. Bring him down 85 and come on down to Atlanta. I love to have him on my team. He's one of those guys that you would love to see on. You hate for your team to play against him, but you would love to have him on your team.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you though. You would have had a dog on wide receiver core with Steve Smith, Julio Jones, and a Ryder White. Boy, it'd have been
Hey, look, it'd have been a bunch of fights, but we would have won some games though.
Right.
All I'm saying is because like, hey, Steve Smith down Carolina, he still was a number 1 in Baltimore, but
Yeah.
virtually he would have been a number 3 here. But the thing
Yeah.
is, but the point I'm making, I'm saying that because if he was still a number 1 in Baltimore, but you got him playing a slot receiver down in Atlanta, Jesus,
Man, look,
that slot corner could get abused.
A matchup nightmare. Like that guy, like I said, he did it all, man. Like it was crazy, man. Like I love watching him play. I just didn't like him when he played against us because he'll kill us every time he played.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, I about to say, boy, we might well go ahead and wind this down. I can't stay too late. I gotta go to work in the morning.
Yeah, I got my son here, and I know he want to do that father-son stuff, so I got my son here for the holidays. But I'm very grateful with that, man. He came out here. It's been 9 years, and I finally got him out here, so we're gonna chill for the holidays and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's good. That's definitely good. But like I said, we appreciate everybody sitting here talking, going down memory road. But like I said, this lets you know the history, like some of the historical bad picks that we done had and free agencies.
Hey, that only means one thing.
CC Ghost Pepper did it for me right there. He just said one name out.
Kevin Schaefer. Oh, another one. What's Baker? The offensive lineman Baker, Sam Baker.
He couldn't stay healthy, man. He wasn't great, but he just couldn't stay healthy.
But I will say this though, that just lets you know that this team is well on its way. When we talk about all the bad draft picks, it's going to get better for us. It definitely is. It's going to get better. It's going to get better.
I think this may have been one of the most complete drafts we done had in a while. Because even that 16 draft, you hit on about four of them.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you literally hit on damn near all of them.
Right, and then this draft class is coming up. There's a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball. So the Falcons have their luck. They have the pick of the litter right now because this draft class is going to be great.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we definitely appreciate y'all. If y'all want to rewind this part of it, I know this has been long, so y'all can go ahead and look.
My bad.
Names. Oh no, you good? Because
I talk about football. I talk about football.
We
talk
about all night. We talk all day.
Yeah. So I told Maggie and Mike I was gonna come on. So I was gonna come on for a little bit. So I'm here, and I'm gonna try to jump on. So I'm gonna try to jump on more shows because I'm gonna be taking some days off for my son here. So I'm gonna take some days off. So whenever y'all get on, I'll jump on for a little bit.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, just as long as we ain't talking about I want to turn him into a zone blitz deep defender, Corey Bierman. That we ain't talking about. But until next time, man, definitely appreciate it. Mike, you gonna come in for the outro?
I just appreciate y'all having me on, man. I know I've been slacking a little bit, just dealing with stuff and dealing with life, but I'm gonna try to come on more often and chop it up with y'all about Falcons football. So I be sharing y'all stuff. I be watching y'all stuff, man. So don't get it twisted. It's just life likes to throw curveballs every now and then.
That one thing about life we can't control. We can't control what happens. We can only deal with what we've been held.
That's right. So, but yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you up. I know you say you got to work tomorrow. I'm off until Wednesday, so I'm gonna chill with my son. So I know you got to go. So I'll be back on the next one when y'all have it.
We'll be on tomorrow.
Oh, y'all on tomorrow? Oh, shoot, I ain't doing that tomorrow. So shoot, I'll be on there with y'all, chopping it up with y'all. Then just give me the time, and I'll be there. I'll be here.
Yeah. We talked to Mike on that one, but like I said, he'll give you the 411 on that. But we definitely, it's definitely open, man. So
yeah. Somebody said before you leave, Sam Baker's better than Mayfield. You can't compare trash to trash. They're both trash to me. And I'm done. I'm done after that. I know you got to go. I'm done on that one.
They couldn't have been worse than Martin Bibler. They couldn't have been worse than that. So
what was the other guy? It was a lot of them. We can go all night with this. We go all night with
this. Hey, until next time. Like I said, we here at AFN. We ain't here to play. We here to stay. You ain't gotta go home.
You gotta get the hell out of here. I gotta go. Peace.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Oh wait, hold on. Somebody back.
Right.
Oh, somebody said Lamar Holmes. Damn.
Lamar
I
Holmes
forgot about him.
Bad too.
He's terrible.
That whole 2012 draft class was terrible. So that's all I need to know. All right.
Yeah.
Deuces,
Out.
everybody. Oh, man.